the fire, you're the flare, you're the song inside my head. And I will taste every note, feel so good when you're in my head. And you're the fire, you're the flare, you're the song inside my head. And I will taste every note, feel so good when you're in my head. And it's the road I've...
On the last episode of the Mixin and Chillin vlog, even if they implemented some ridiculous laws, this is something that if somebody truly wants to do this, they can still do it. But it's going to take a lot of effort on the vapors' part to actually learn what it takes to make your own stuff. I don't know what the heck happened to the last hour of my life, but it certainly wasn't streamed on YouTube like I thought it was. Restrictive policies block progress towards smoke-free world. Many people incorrectly think that very little nicotine content cigarettes are less carcinogenic than current cigarettes. This risk misperception by people who smoke could reduce motivation to quit under a nicotine reduction policy.
Someone who specialises in helping people kick the habit is Dr. Colin Mendelsohn. He joins me now.
Look, vaping is a far less harmful alternative to smoking for adult smokers who just can't quit, and that's actually the majority of them.
The road to quitting smoking is paved with candy. Double chocolate clear from TFA. Published in the Vaping Post, we have long-term study. Vaping increases odds of quitting heavy smoking. For those of you that don't know, this is Kenny Thompson, the Vaping Heed. He's got a YouTube channel. He's been on here a lot longer than I have. I'm not going to stop until this is legal and available for everyone. You know, I cover things from all around the globe, but that's because science has no boundary.
I mean, you know, the FDA and everything would know that vaping is safer than smoking, but they'll have the pressure off the tobacco companies or the states that are on the MSA and all that. It's just a financial thing, and unfortunately that takes precedence against everything. And
All of the things we went through.
I must say, well done on that. Like, that was a cracking intro. That absolutely brilliant.
I think it turned out pretty good. Today's retro build is the Serpent Elevate by Wotofo, and see if you all recognize this one, Ringco Mecmon Nano. It's a 90-watt RDA kit.
Now we're talking. But it looks nice, you know what I mean? It's not just yeah, it's interesting. It will be interesting.
That candy cane's fantastic in here. There's our recipe for today.
Well, Gates dropped a link in there, The Science of Diabetes and Vaping. So there you go. There's a link there if one of you guys want to investigate it more or whatever.
Ignore the headlines. There's no science linking vaping to prediabetes. The Vapor Chef. Honeypearry clone.
Well, you can see it. It's just, whatever rocks your boat type of thing, isn't it?
And Birdman brings up a very, very good point. Your liquids need to remain fresh. There is a certain point where it's reached its peak, and after that point, it's going to degrade. Some of them degrade like a cliff, and some of them take a long time to degrade. So today's experiment, find out what an apple cinnamon donut tastes like after it's been steeping for a year and a half.
Oh, God. It looks really dark. That looks like my last urine sample when I was ill. That's really dark.
Oh my God, you're horrible.
But, like I said, if it's still vaping good, then... I'll put them off it now. Whatever you do, don't say it tastes like piss.
It doesn't taste like piss.
Vaping is better than smoking.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Another wonderful episode of Mixin and Chilling with Kenny the Vape and Heed and DJ Alex from Hunky Vape. Hello and welcome, Dick Fadden's Dusty Country Road. I'm so excited I can't even talk today. Dick Fattens, Sean Lynch. Wonderful to see all of you guys here today.
I can't believe I said that bottle looked like a urine sample.
The only thing that would have topped it is if I would have said it tasted like piss.
True. So true.
We're all here to have a good time, and I love being able to do this. This is something that's changed on season 2. Every episode is going to open with a recap of the last season, or at least the highlights of the last season. And it's not going to be as long as this one because obviously we're going to cut off the intro on the beginning of it. Good. Got to milk it for every little episode I can get out of it.
Yeah, you milk it, matey.
Dick Fatkins.
Pardon?
He corrected me on how I pronounced his name. My apologies. I'm clicking on the wrong screen. There we go.
Oh, don't have any mishaps this week, please. We've had a good run.
Listen, if this is going to be a week of mishaps, it's completely expected at this point. I did so much stuff in the background. OBS 29 came out last weekend.
Oh,
so I'm like, okay, I'm on 28. I've got some bugs that can't be resolved. Stream effects, it is better, but there's still some things in there. And the developer, Zirmar, actually said that a lot of those are caused by OBS, and there's nothing he has any control over. So I'm like, maybe I can fix those little bugs in it if I just update to 29. So I had to update to 29, then all the freaking add-ins that I have also needed to be checked to make sure that there was no updates for those to make it compatible with OBS 29. It's just a never-ending battle with this software.
It is, isn't it? Every time you update, you've got to update everything.
Oh, and then it got even worse than that because the graphics driver came out and there was another hiccup that was happening with it. And I looked on the forums and they said, you need to update your BIOS.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I had to update the BIOS and I had to update the AMD drivers because that's what this whole problem's all been stemming from.
It's
Microsoft doesn't play well with AMD.
Nope. Because I don't like
those of us that choose AMD because it's more cost efficient for us end up getting screwed in the end.
I always found them more stable as well, man. I mean, I'm running the Ryzen. I think I've got the Ryzen 5 in my system. I think it's an awesome chip.
Yeah, I've got the Ryzen 7 in mine, and the thing is, when I'm running this whole stream, I'm still having this drop frames issue every once in a while. But it's gotten a lot better after I've optimized Windows. But my CPU usage is 0.5%.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the highest it'll get during a stream is 3%.
That's good. That's really
so just
good.
sitting there idling, doing all the stuff that needs to be done. Granted, most of the workload is done by the video card.
Yeah. Well, that's what you want, really, don't you?
Yeah. So, tell me about your week. It's been crazy, huh?
My week has been very busy, and my wife's car's broke down, so we're down to one car. She kind of got in it, coming home from work, pushed her brake pedal, and it went straight to the floor. She's got absolutely zero brakes. So there's obviously a massive leak or failure of some sort for that to happen. So we've got a guy coming to pick it up tomorrow to trailer to his garage and hopefully get to the bottom of it. So, with being down to one car, we've been kind of sharing it for works and all that stuff. It's been a bit hectic, but hopefully we will get there.
Pedal goes
And
to the
guess
floor.
what, guys?
It's two things. Either the brake power booster is failed, or you've got a leak in the hydraulic system.
I'm probably
The
thinking
more rare one, which I actually had happen to me on the excursion, is you lose a brake pad.
no, it's they've all just been done. I actually done the rear ones. I put new discs and pads on it myself when we got it. So all of that kind of stuff, the basic hardware on your wheels and everything's all mighty fine. It's all been recently replaced. So I'm guessing it's a hydraulic failure. I think there's a pipe gone or something. So. But, you know, I'm getting too old now to crawl under cars, so I just pay somebody to do it now.
Yeah, my excursion, I was dropping my daughter off at school the one day, and it's just like, all of a sudden, the pedal just went to the floor. It wasn't like, you know, it dropped to the floor. It was just, it didn't have the resistance it's supposed to have. And I'm like, and the car's not slowing down as fast as it's supposed to. I'm like,
Nope.
what the heck's going on here? Well, needless to say, by the time I got home, the brakes were back to feeling the way they were supposed to, but now I had a grinding noise on the rear axle.
Oh, dear.
What happened is the brake pad wore down to the point where it was so thin that metal plate that the brake pads are mounted to
Sheared
got
off.
stuck in between, sheared off and stuck in between the caliper and the rotor.
Wow. Well,
And the
was good.
piston had literally lodged itself almost up against the rotor.
Jesus. Well, hers were that bad, we had to use the handbrake or parking brake, as you guys call it, to literally stop it.
That's happened to me as well. My
Bad,
previous
bad,
car.
But yeah, hopefully, you know, I don't think it's nothing too major, so we'll get it done. Not a problem. And
William
the other-
Dobson, hello and welcome.
Hello, William. And the other good news is I finally got me package from Australia. It arrived.
That's awesome.
It only took nearly, 3 months? So yeah, it's all go. I've literally just pretty much glanced at it and, you know, I haven't even done anything with it yet. So it looks good. Looks good.
You have it
Again,
handy. Can you show off what you got?
Well, I have got some one-shots here, which are them. I have also got some more one-shots, which are here and here. He's been very generous, shall we say.
That's fantastic.
And I believe these are concentrates. He's got, this is a caramel. Have a Whizzer lemon drop.
Ah.
We have another Whizzer, which looks like a fruit cup, I believe that is. Fruit cup. And then we have, well, you guys in the US must be that favorite, peanut butter.
Ah, nice.
And the icing on the cake, right? This was the icing on the cake, right? I'm sorry I'm gonna do, but this was the icing on the cake for me. Have a look at that bad boy.
A peach
200
custard
ml.
flavor shot.
So I can't wait to have a go with them.
You can make like 500 mils with that.
That is awesome, isn't it?
Oh man, that's exciting.
I'm over the moon with it, honestly. If he does come in the gym, thank you very much. That's awesome. But that custard, when I was like, yes.
Well, now you're obligated as a flavor reviewer to try a new one and report every single week, you know, on how that new one tastes like.
Well, of course. I mean, definitely. I might even actually whop a video up on my channel about them all, and you know, well, you never know. Why not?
I got that blueberry meringue in here. And I think when I mixed it up, I didn't put enough of the flavor shot in to get the flavor to where I like it. It's a pleasant vape, but it doesn't really like stand out, or there's no aggressiveness to it on any of the flavor profiles in it. So, easy thing to do to know exactly what it's supposed to taste like. Take a drop.
A knuckle taste, as they say.
And that's what it's supposed to taste like. And this is a very sweet mixture. I get a little bit of toast and not so much of the blueberry. I mean, I get the blueberry, but it's not like a separate flavor. It's overpowered by the sweetness in this. And that's why when I put it into the other liquid, it tasted like there was no like wideness to the palate. So it's very delicious. If I would have cranked the flavoring percentage up to 20%, add another 5% into my e-liquid, this would be a fantastic, this would be equivalent to, you know, the blue raspberry cotton candy that I vaped for all that time. But the sweetness is the most prominent aspect of this particular flavor.
I think I've actually got that in here. Is it? He's sent us a lot of custards, I must admit. Like, I think he's a man after my own heart.
You didn't do a good job keeping it a secret. But that's your favorite flavor profile.
I've got egg custard tart, pineapple custard, honeydew custard, banana custard tart, butterscotch custard. Just to name a few.
You're a custard man at heart, so why not provide you with the flavor profiles that you're going to gravitate towards to?
Definitely. And I've even got the old candy cane that you were recommending, shall we say.
It really shocked me because, you know, I was a menthol smoker. So as soon as I vaped that, I'm like, oh my God, this is the best of both worlds. This is a candy cane, but it's got that menthol note to it. And it's also got some spearmint notes to it. And it's just, oh man, that's fantastic.
And there's
That's why I
gingerbread.
have a full bottle of it. And that is my all-day vape.
And that gingerbread's still there, but it's pity Christmas has been and gone. Like, it would be nice.
Yep. It's something that I'm definitely going to be able to put in a rotation. Like if I wanted to do celebrated Christmas in July, well, it might not be a perfect one to pull out.
Exactly.
Let's just put you back in the festive spirit and you'd be giving stuff away left and right.
Hell, this is it, isn't it? But
So
yeah,
let's see
I'm
what
like,
everybody else is vaping on. Sean Lynch says, I'm vaping on apple pie custard, 0 milligram Urban Chase.
oh, very nice.
That's
He's
yours
also-
to read.
He's also stated he loves peach custard, but you're not getting this one, so I'm sorry to say. Mine!
Dick
I'm waiting-
Fatkin says, I'm vaping on my milk and cookies recipe. That sounds delicious. Dusty
Appreciate
Country Road says, I'm vaping on Prince with 0.5% of Cap Super Sweet. Awesome.
Well, I've actually moved on to another one of yours. I'm on Big Reds custard. Very nice.
Nice.
And there's 3 drops of sweetener in it as well.
On top of what was already in it. I think that one already did have a little bit of sweetener in it.
I've just put that Taj more and it's absolutely gorgeous now. Num, 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 num. As you can tell, I've only had it for 2 days and there's nearly half a bottle gone. Just haven't left it a be. It's in everything.
Because that's what takes the flavors of all these recipes to the next level.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, it's nice to be a purist and go, you know what, I'm only going to put 0.5% in and I'm going to make the recipe so that it tastes fantastic without all that extra sugar and sweetness in it. Because technically super sweet is one of those things that if, you know, you consumed an excessive amount of it your whole life, you know, it could produce some potential harm.
Oh, definitely. But I do kind of like sweet juices anyway, I must admit. I have a bit of a sweet tooth for that.
I think we all are. I mean, it takes us back to the days when we were kids. You wonder why these vape manufacturers put all these cartoony things on the bottles. It isn't to attract the youth. It's to attract the young at heart.
It's to take you back to your youth.
That's exactly what it is. Because that's when you started smoking. So now
Exactly.
we're reaching our middle age, and it's time for us to gravitate to the next chapter of our lives.
Healthier, hopefully.
That's exactly what it boils down to. The health conscious middle-aged man or woman looking to improve their health outcome.
Definitely. Got to be done,
You know,
man.
when you're young, you're fearless and you think that there's no end ever in sight. You're invincible.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll try anything, especially when people tell you that you're not supposed to do that. And then you look into it and go, why am I not supposed to do that? And they give you all of these reasons, and it's like, no, that doesn't check out, that doesn't check out, that doesn't check out, that doesn't check out. Well, you know what? I'm going to try and find out for myself.
And take it from us, middle-aged to older gentlemen, it does catch up with you in the end. Really does.
Yeah, it does.
Like
See, this is a
everything.
lunchtime show, so I can't, like, you know, become graphic and show you, like, what the effects of it are, like, you know, what gout looks like,
No.
or peripheral vascular disease, or what your skin modeling looks like.
Hemorrhoids, perhaps? No, we can't have. No, that's a bit too much.
I'd have to mark this thing as a private video, adult-only content. No, we don't need to cover that.
Nope. This is not a medical disformity show.
Although there are enough of us out there that have these issues and these problems and these consequences of smoking for decades and decades and decades,
Yeah.
that it could be very easy to illustrate all the actual harms that you get from smoking and how long it takes for your body to recognize them and have the outcome that you have. But then again, being the curious scientist that I am, I have my doubts that it's all blamed on one thing. It's not just the cigarette smoking that caused all these problems.
Lifestyle, innit?
It's not only just lifestyle, but the fact that there are so many chemical ingredients in so many of our daily things that we eat and drink. It's just, you can't tell me that when they decide to remove these things secretly off of the marketplace, they didn't do it for a particular reason.
No.
Titanium dioxide is my favorite because it was in my coffee creamer and I've been drinking it for decades.
Well, when you think of it, there's even chemicals in your water. You know what I mean? So, tap
Because
water.
that can't become 100% purified.
Nope.
Why do you think all of us have water pitchers that filter our water coming out of our faucets? Because we don't trust our water supply.
Exactly. Oh, it's just like I say, there's all sorts and everything, man. You know, you're breathing in God knows what, you're eating God knows what, you're drinking God knows what. You know, I think at the end of the day, we probably are living artificially because everything's artificial.
It is. Hello and welcome, Ian Thomas. And there's
Hi.
nothing wrong with artificial. I mean, if you think about it, if you boil things down from a scientific perspective, everything breaks down into its chemical makeup. And where the origin of that chemical makeup comes from is irrelevant if it's 100% pure.
Yeah.
So you can theoretically replicate just about anything that we consume. We have the science and the technology, or the ability to learn it if we choose to replicate anything artificially, except meat.
Well, we have cloned a sheep over here, I believe.
Yes, you have. And you're not the only place that it's done it.
Yeah, it's good. We're actually cloning animals, so there's another thing, you know. God, scary, innit?
Listen,
Imagine
there's
walking down the
upsides and
street.
downsides to capitalism.
Of course
We all
there
know
is.
that. You know, greed is the excessive capitalist that only cares about the end result of high profits
Definitely.
at any cost.
Oh,
And some
without-
people argue that only drug dealers are like that. I would argue that there's a lot more evil in this world than just that.
Politicians.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And body part organizations as well. They're
Yeah,
not
this is-
purists like we think they are. They've shown their true colors how many times over for those of us that have chosen a healthier alternative, and they constantly bash it. And they bash the people that, you know, advocate for it.
It is, man. It's just, like I say, profiteering, wealth, greed, all of... It's like the 7 deadly sins, isn't it, really?
Yep. So today, I figured why not challenge our conception and our ideology of the FDA and try to bring some truth to the masses. And this isn't about, you know, whether or not what we're going to cover and the video that I chose in particular for this is fact or not. This isn't about whether there has been a cancer cure suppressed for 4 decades or more. This is more about getting you to open your mind up to the possibility that, you know what? If we can't trust the FDA about vaping, what else can we not trust the FDA about?
Probably everything.
So let's jump right into it. And let's take a look at some snippets from this video, Suppressing a Cure for More Than 40 Years, BURZYNSKI, the Cancer Cure Cover-Up full documentary. I did watch this whole thing yesterday, and it was quite intriguing. Opened my eyes up to a lot of possibilities that I had suspected in the past from other doctors that have used other ideas and tried to, cure people of cancer and been called quacks and sued by the health boards and the FDA. With this one, I think takes the cake from what I've seen so far. So let's jump right into it.
History hasn't changed much. Scientific fact continues to be often based not on science or peer review, but the projected illusion and manufacturing of a perceived majority consensus.
Isn't that what we keep coming across when we look at all these scientific studies? Mark Robinson, hello and welcome.
Hi, Mark. You all right?
Yeah, that seems to be exactly what we keep coming across. Right now, the funding for the science has been clearly tracked back to Bloomberg and his philanthropic organizations. And every single one of those studies that look at it and put vaping out as a bad perspective, you can track the financial source and the incentive that these scientists aren't producing the results that we would expect to find during their studies. When you take a mod and you crank it up to 200 watts and you're using a cigarette machine to test whether that vape produces any carcinogens. You don't get enough airflow through a vape, yourself, you're going to get a dry hit or you're going to get a scalding piece of spattering vape into your mouth.
Yeah.
No human would ever use a device like that, like the way that they have these labs testing for these chemical ingredients.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the exceptions. Fucking out with the Batman. He likes a nice hot vape.
No, I do not believe that the earth is flat. And that's exactly what category vapors have been put into as flat earthers. Because the general consensus out there says, oh, vaping's bad for you. You're better off smoking. Here's a cigarette. Next. And this goes to the monetary financial incentive for the FDA and why certain things will never see the light of day if it's up to the people that are making the money right now.
Purely economical. If antineoplastons were FDA approved for just one cancer type, even the smallest and obscure of cancer types, like brainstem tumors in children, where antineoplastons hold the first cures in medical history, but only afflicts a few hundred children per year, this would mean that anyone of any age diagnosed with any type of cancer, like breast, lung, or liver, could legally insist their oncologist provide them.
Hello, honey. It's your
Would provide them with antineoplastons off-label. So, in other words, every single cancer cure out there is threatened by this potential cure for cancer and any other potential cure for cancer that exists out there. It's just like with vaping. If this was the cure for smoking, think of all the organizations and institutions that are going to lose a boatload of money in the foreseeable future because people aren't going to die from smoking.
So true, man. So true.
And as William Dobson points out, Bloomberg is anti-vaping and they support the lobbyists in the United States. And not only in the United States, within our own government, our own politicians, and the National Cancer Institute, perfect example, does a lot of the funding for tobacco science. And they literally set the agenda on what they want the outcomes of these studies are. They're literally looking for scientists to come up with solutions for politicians to fix with legislation. And you wonder why the science outcomes don't actually determine whether this flavoring ingredient, when vaporized as normal, as intended, does or does not have any harmful components for us vapors. You'll never find a scientific study like that out there, except maybe when a manufacturer chooses to do that, and then it's kept as a trade secret.
True.
Well, you can choose to watch and choose not to watch this whole video that's out there, but just like with us in vaping, this was the only thing that enabled us and empowered us to quit our daily 1, 2, or 3 pack a day cigarette habit. And here you have this young lady.
His treatment saved her life. People can think what they want, because a lot of people think that Dr. Burzynsky is, I don't know, a fraud or charlatan or crook or whatever they want to think. And one thing in life, you should always try and respect the beliefs that other people have, but it's very hard to respect the belief of people who really want to see this guy just cleared out, stamped out, killed, well, not killed, but, professionally killed. What I've seen along the way, because I kind of kept all of this away from him. I didn't want her to see how much hatred there is for this guy. And I know he's being taken to court again by the Texas Medical Board, for the 3rd time? Twice by the FDA. When's it ever going to stop? But I remember Dr. Burzynsky saying something to me. I said, why do you keep doing this, And he said, I have to, I have to keep going. He said, but I probably won't get recognized for this work until I'm dead. And, there isn't a day goes by when I don't think how lucky we are, but how it scares the crap out of me that there are a lot of people who might never get this treatment, and there's a lot of people who are convinced, absolutely 100%, that this treatment doesn't work. She was accepted on a phase 2 clinical trial, it worked, and she's trying to get on with her life as best as she can, whereas for me, it's a little bit different because I feel a massive debt to him, and I get contacted probably every 2 or 3 weeks by someone with a brain tumor asking me for help and advice. And we want to say thank you, obviously, to you, Eric, because if you hadn't have made this film, I probably never would have found out about the treatment. I want to say a massive thank you to Dr. Burzynsky and all of the people in his clinic, because they went to great lengths to help us. This treatment.
There you go. Tell me you can't draw the parallels between what's happening there with this doctor and his cure for cancer, which isn't actually a cure, and he admits that it isn't going to 100% cure you, but it does remove the tumors from your body. And looking at the science behind it, well, let's just do exactly that. Here's a study that was performed in Japan.
I can actually remember that, watching lots of documentaries about that guy. He's been in and out of court so many times because they've literally tried to shut him down time and time again because of his work.
Yeah. Here we have a study that was done, and this study was done based on people that not only had cancer, but it had metastasized from their liver as colorectal cancer. From the colon was the origin of it, and it spread into the liver, okay? And here is what the 5-year cancer survival rate was of the people that were treated using this antineoplaston stuff versus traditional chemotherapy and radiation and whatnot. 60% versus 32%.
Wow.
And why isn't this being utilized all across the country? Especially when you take a look at the quality of life that these people had. The people that took this as a form of treatment didn't have the long-term side effects that chemotherapy and radiation give you, because both of those are toxic in itself. If you give that to a healthy person, you're going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
With this stuff here, you can give it to a healthy person and it's not going to kill them. They're going to get some side effects from it, sure, but nothing compared to what chemotherapy and radiation are. The parallels between this and vaping is just astronomical when you take a step back and you look at the facts that are here.
Mind blowing, isn't it?
And you wonder why this treatment is being done and used on other countries around the globe Once again, same parallels with vaping. You look at what they're doing in Japan. You know, heat-not-burn was widely accepted in Japan, and look at the smoking rate in Japan. Falling like a rock. But here we have the FDA fighting vaping and denying 8 million formulations of e-liquid that are being sold commercially and saying that they're not authorized. You know what? You can stick it right up your keister with your authorization.
Which it's like you say, it's like cancer treatment has never changed for years. It's the same old stuff, the chemo, the radio. It's never changed. Never ever. It's been like that for years and years and years. And as soon as somebody comes up with a new idea, new treatment, they get shot down straight away for it. You know what I mean? They're just, at the end of the day, they want you to die of this stuff. That's basically what it is, because you're guinea pigs for these drug companies. They're making money out of your misfortune. That's how they work.
Yeah, and it's amazing how all these pharmaceutical companies sell you all these pills that you have to take them for the rest of your life once you start on them, despite the fact that there are known side effects that are going to creep up on you that you wouldn't have had if you wouldn't have touched the medicine. Chasing clouds and flavor reviews, my dad would probably still be alive too if he went and got this treatment instead of the traditional radiation and chemo.
At the end of the day, pharmacists are just legalized drug dealers, aren't they? At the end of the day, that's all they are. You know what I mean?
Legalized, institutionally approved drug dealers.
Exactly. I mean, my wife takes medication, and every time she gets a new batch, the side effect list gets longer and longer and longer. The risk factors of them gets longer and longer. They're coming out with new stuff every bloody time you get them, you know what I mean? So, yep. And they do give you this because obviously if you do have or suffer for one of these, or you do die or you become terminally ill of one of these, they're covering their backsides because this is, well, warning, this can happen. Well, I never asked for it. You prescribed us it, mate. You know what I mean? It's honestly balmy, man.
Yep. My mother's a perfect example. She's had a hole in her heart her entire life. She's lived with it. And it was obvious, because when she was younger, if she would laugh, she would actually have an attack of fluid building up in her lungs, and they blamed it on asthma because they didn't know that she had a congenital heart defect. She lived with this her entire life. She had to be careful of how hard she laughed because it would literally take her breath away.
Wow. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and it wasn't until years later on, when, she was going to see the doctor, and then they were going to see the cardiologist, and the cardiologist was like, we should probably put a pacemaker in your heart because of your AFib that you have. And they went and they did the echo, and they're like, oh, you have a hole in your heart. She's like, yeah, I've known about this for a long time. She's like, well, if you were younger, we would have, put a seal over top of that hole in your heart, but we're going to use it now for your pacemaker. So it's actually a good thing that it's there.
Well, thank you very kindly. I mean, ready-made hole. Cheers. Fucking hell, man.
And it's frustrating because, like, my mother and my family have no history of diabetes whatsoever anywhere that we know of, right? But because they put her on this high cholesterol medication, the cholesterol-lowering medication, one of the known side effects of that is diabetes. It's like once you get in the system and you start taking this stuff, all of a sudden it just starts poisoning your whole body, little by little.
I don't know what it's like over in the States, but the same here with anybody with any mental health issues. All they do is just palm you up with tablets or drugs, right? There you are. You just take them, and it just turns people into bloody zombies. That can't be good, surely. Madness, man. Oh, they're quite happy to dispense the drugs, not a problem.
William Dobson says, good example. I've been taking anti-inflammation drug now. Have to take a second medication to counteract the side effects of the anti-inflammation drugs.
There you go.
Yeah.
One drug.
Lots of people under that same situation. And as long as there's profit to be made in medicine, these kind of problems aren't going to get better. They're going to continue to get worse. And it's all because of greed.
It was a similar scenario for when my wife's dad passed. He was on blood thinning medication because obviously he had a dodgy heart. But obviously when he had an internal bleed with his blood being that thin, they were trying to reverse it, and they couldn't do it. So, he basically bled to death, you know what I mean? Pretty much, which, it was crazy thing, you know what I mean? But again, drugs doing one thing to your body when, you need to reverse it or do something else. You just don't know what you're taking, man, what they're going to do.
Yeah. Actually, you do know if you really bother to look and read the label that they give you, the 6-page pamphlet that you fold out, and the reading is so small you need to pull a magnifying glass out, or you get online and actually read the pages and pages of side effects, potential side effects, and actual chemistry of these things.
That's just to cover their backsides, isn't it? They're telling you, it's kind of like when they did with the early days of the cigarettes in America, that's how you got all the lawsuits, because there was no warnings on the cigarette packets what harm it could do to you. And then obviously everybody found out it was bad for you, and then obviously it was just everybody was just open season for everybody, lawsuits against tobacco companies and God knows what, hence the MSA, you know what I mean?
Well, and you take a look at the flip side of it, lawsuits don't have to be totally based on fact or merit.
No.
Anybody with money can file a lawsuit against anybody else, including the government can file lawsuits against individuals and tie you up in court.
Yeah.
Look at the whole John DeLorean situation. Here we had a car that was going to last forever because it was made of stainless steel. Why didn't anybody else think of this?
Yeah,
the motor's going to wear out. Your suspension, your steering, anything that's mechanical that is rotating or moving is going to potentially wear out, but the actual body of the car, which is, 80 to 90% of the vehicle, was never, ever going to go bad.
Nope. I mean, obviously cars have come a long way, like with, anti-rust treatment and that. I mean, they're still made of, steel at the end of the day, but, the anti-rustings come a long way. But again, stainless steel car would last forever, pretty much.
Anti-rust treatment, my 2000 Excursion that I have in the driveway, actually in the street, has less rust on it than the 2008 Explorer, which the floorboards are completely rusted out.
It's like I say, the early days of our car, I mean, Datsuns were terrible over here in the UK. They were brilliant motors. The engines would run forever, but the actual shell of the car, Jesus Christ. I remember
Ford Escort GT that I bought when I first got out of the military and got out of college and had my own job. Well, let me tell you, what do you think happened to that one? It rusted out right where the axle connects to the body. You couldn't find any rust spots anywhere else on the whole car.
I had an Austin Mini with no flooring. Look, I actually called it the Flintstone vehicle because you'd actually stick your feet through the hole and literally push the car on the floor. We used to drive it shouting Wilma. Them were the days.
Oh, fantastic.
We used to wash your car with a power hose and all the bodge would fall off it. All the filler.
Chasing Cloud says, my dad had lymphoma and he started treatment of chemotherapy, and within 3 months, he was just done, and I can't deny that it was hard to such a strong man to dissolve like that.
It is. It's a harrowing thing to watch. It's absolutely awful.
My dad had pain that they couldn't identify what the cause of it was. And it took them 6 months before they finally realized that my dad had cancer. And by the time that they found that it was cancer, it had spread through his entire body. It had metastasized. And it started in his ribs, one of his rib cages, and metastasized into bone cancer. Went and started chemo and radiation therapy. And fortunately for him, he slipped and fell in the shower in between chemo and radiation that day and died of a blood clot.
Wow.
Fortunately, he didn't have to suffer through weeks or months of chemo and radiation.
Well, I mean, the wife's mom, I mean, she had a hernia. She had a hernia for years and years and years. And when she finally got it to sort out, and they checked it out, and they said, that's the least of your worries. You've now got stage 4 bowel cancer. That just came right out of the blue. And she refused chemo. She didn't want any of it. She just thought, nah, it's got us, just let us grow type of thing. She didn't want it.
Here's a situation for you. My next door neighbor, their parents were diagnosed with cancer. First, the dad was diagnosed with cancer, who refused all treatment. He says, I am not going to spend the last however many days, months, or years I have left being sick beyond what the cancer is going to do to me.
Yeah.
So you give me medicine that's going to make me feel better, but I'm going to take this time and I'm going to enjoy my life like there's no tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
His wife was diagnosed with cancer 6 months later.
Wow.
She chose chemo and radiation and passed away in less than a year.
I'm saying, man, it's not good for you.
The old man had 8 more years left with cancer before he passed of a heart attack.
The chemo and radiation it's a killer. It's just the amount of stress it puts on your body. You know, I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's just, you know, you're fighting the cancer and then you're also fighting that. It's nuts, man. It's awful.
William Dobson says, same as cigarettes, the pharmaceutical company has too much to lose with vaping, as they can make the chemicals for the paper and the filters, as well as the pesticides for the tobacco industry.
Hit the nail on the head, yeah. Definitely hit the nail on the head. Like I say, it just seems to be so anti. I mean, everybody encourages you to live a healthy lifestyle and all that stuff. I mean, here in the UK, we're at an aging population now. We've got more older people now living longer, and due to these pushing this, healthy lifestyle, propaganda, whatever it is, or agenda, whatever it is they're pushing out. But on the flip side of that, our NHS is on its knees because we haven't got the facilities to look after our aging population. There's just where social care is.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is. Our social care system is pretty much non-existent. I mean, it's been recently on the news. Like, we've got the corona's going up again. There's a flu virus that's pretty bad. We're suffering with strep A of some sort. And I reckon there's loads of people in hospital beds that could be discharged if there was social care to look after them, and there isn't. And it's just awful. So there's two sides of it. What do you think about it?
Yes, and there are two sides to social health care. UK isn't the only country in the world that has socialized medicine.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm just.
And if you look at other countries and you look at other cultures, let's just say Japan, for example. The culture in Japan is a tight-knit family circle. Mm-hmm. Honor and duty to family beyond all else is a common theme in Japanese culture, right?
It is.
So what happens in Japan when your mom and dad get too old to take care of themselves? They don't get shipped off to some nursing home or some extended care facility. They live with their kids. Yeah. One of their kids takes responsibility for their parent, and now the roles are reversed.
Definitely.
And the only time that the healthcare system actually has to pay for anything is when they have a health condition that needs to be treated.
Yeah. Oh, it makes sense. It's just logic at the end of the day.
I don't understand why people don't talk about, Japan and these other countries that have nationalized healthcare more than they talk about the UK. The UK is just one example that everybody points to as, what it's like in Canada. They say, oh, it's a failure because of this and because of this and because of this and because of this. Well, until you get the money and the greed out of the system, make all pharmaceutical companies nonprofit.
That's what it's down to the end of the day. I mean, the government have absolutely stripped the NHS of all funding over years, and they've got it down to the bone. But now, they're understaffed, they're overworked, their salaries are crap. They've stripped and stripped and stripped. They've picked away at it and picked away at it and picked away at it, and now
salaries wouldn't have to be crap if CEOs were limited to $1 million.
Well, this is it. You've got all your high earners, they're still making a fortune out of it, you know what I mean? They're not taking any cuts in salary or anything like that, you know what I mean? So
When you have a pharmaceutical executive making $1.1 billion, if he was cut back to $1 million a year income, where would all that extra money go to? If you divided that up amongst the rest, all the employees there, you could probably have all of them making $150,000, $250,000 a year. If the CEO was limited to $1 million.
That's what I'm saying. If they cap their salaries, you know what I mean?
Then the prices would have to come down, or people's pay would have to go up.
Exactly.
Because that money is not going to disappear.
I mean, $1 million a year, you couldn't spend the money quick enough, man, if you weren't in that. I couldn't. I mean,
you could never spend it.
Nah.
You can never spend it all.
You could just, okay, a lot of them say it's tied up in this and tied up in that. It's not actual cash in the bank, but at the end of the day, it's still, what are you going to do with it? You know what I mean? You can't take it with you when you die. You know what I mean? You just can't. Yes, you can have a nice, healthy lifestyle, rich health lifestyle, but that's it. You couldn't spend it all. I'm sorry, you just couldn't.
Yeah. But that's another topic for another day. I think we've gone a little far off the deep end. We're going to sound like a bunch of communists out here, which we're not. I don't have a problem with capitalism. Capitalism works great, but you know what? I think that healthcare should be a human right.
Exactly.
And if we choose to have a healthier option, well, this should be readily available everywhere if this is displacing smoking and it's safer. Even if it's 1% safer, this should be available everywhere. And you should start limiting where cigarettes are sold if you wanted a healthier population. Exactly. Don't eliminate the thing that people are using as a safer alternative. Space Turtle, hello and welcome.
William Dobson's just said, get a bug to fight a bug, but kids are shielded nowadays. In the UK, there's a massive uprising of chickenpox. True.
Yeah, a lot of that had to do with the whole vaccine scares that were going around, and people were saying that vaccines were causing autism. And
I think it was the MMR vaccine, the mumps, measles, and rubella one. I think they had a little scare with that one a few years ago.
And it's not to say that there were bad batches that came out and never got, tested and identified as a bad batch. But general, vaccines as a whole have saved society. Look at polio.
Dog, without a doubt.
If the pharmaceutical industry and the modern FDA were in existence back then and took charge of polio, everybody would be living in iron coffins, iron lungs.
Yeah, without a doubt.
They came out with a vaccine for polio. We all got it, and we didn't get polio, and we didn't have to live in an iron lung.
I mean, don't get us wrong. There is a lot of good they've done in the world.
Free healthcare equals free liquids for all. I say no.
Yes.
Your starter kit should come with a bottle of flavor that you think you're going to like, but after that, it's a choice for you to continue using it. It's a safer alternative, so therefore, you paid for your cigarettes. Well, guess what you should do now? You should pay for your e-liquid. So, but to get people to switch from the combustion to a non-combustible product, that should be provided as part of your health care, because it's going to improve your health outcome and it's going to reduce costs for the healthcare system.
Like I say, we're pretty lucky in the UK. I mean, they do, they're not anti-vaping. They do promote it a bit. It is there as a part of the stop smoking program. So, we're kind of lucky at the moment. So, I can't really moan about much of it over here. You know what I mean? We're doing.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to rub salt into an open wound here, but we're just fine at the moment. Sorry.
No. You're totally right about it. All right. So there goes the soapbox for today.
They'll get there eventually, man. I'm sure they will.
I look at this as, these are videos that are made. And the whole point of it is obviously we all pretty much agree on all this stuff, depending on how far you believe into the system or not believe into the system. We all kind of, agree on that aspect of it. For those that have never gotten into vaping and might want to watch the show, we got somebody at the door. This is something that, needs to be put into the videos for somebody that has never vaped and might actually choose to pick this up one day.
See,
so I'm turning the show over to you so I can find out who's at the door.
Even the dog agrees with them. There you go. Yeah, guys, that was a bit of a soapbox, but part of the old FDA and all that stuff in America, you know. I mean, I say we in the UK aren't doing too bad, so. But while he's disappeared, we'll have a quick look in chat, see what's going on. William Dobson, blah blah blah. Yep. Welcome to the kit. Yeah, that's it. Should we bring him back? Just can't the heat talk show nowhere. Love it, love it, love it. What am I going to try for nowadays? I'm like a kiddie in a candy shop. I don't know. I really don't know. I need to get some more supplies. You know, I'm totally unprepared. I need some more secret sauce, shall we say, and I need some more. Well, I need some more VGPG as well. I've got nout. I'm not even prepared. I'm terrible. But like I say, it's work in progress. It's work in progress, man. We'll get some videos up, man. We'll definitely get some videos up. Like I say, I'm just like I said, I was like digging around my cupboard before, and I found this secret sauce, and it's like a very dark orange. I was just asking Alex before we come on if it was still usable, and apparently it is. But it's like I said the other week, it does look a little bit like a urine sample, but never mind. It is what it is. But guys, you know, it's a tough times in America at the minute. Like I say, in other countries with vaping, but you know, I think with the cigarette scenario, I think it took them 10 years to take notice of the UK scientists for the penny to drop to say that smoking was bad for you. So it might take them 10 years again, like they did with the cigarettes, so you never know. Hello, Janine Timmins, and welcome to the show. I'm sorry it's only the Vape and Heat show at the moment, because DJ Alex has gone to see who's praying on his front door type of thing. I wonder what television are currently popular. Oh, God. I think it's varied, Space Tell. I think there's
I'm back.
There's lots and lots of liquid, you know. I mean, I'm a custard fan, but I mean, you know, there's fruits, there's bakeries. I think it's just a wide variation. Just like where you are in the world, you know, there'll be people that have various tastes and various juices, so they'll be all over. Can you get your VGPG on Amazon, says Dusty Country Road? Yeah, I would imagine. I think they sell just about everything.
The answer is yes. I get mine on Amazon.
Chasing clouds and flavor reviews. I just made a juice the other day that didn't have a recipe. I just picked 4 strawberries and a couple of creams, and I surprised myself with something delicious. Rock on, man. That's how you do it. A bit of trial and error, and a bit of, you know, in the lab, kind of doing a bit of mixing there. You know what I mean? Awesome. Oh, here we go. Look at this. He's got 10 gallons of it. Holy shit. That would last me a lifetime, Paddy.
Talk about generous.
Jesus.
Listen, he sent out an email and said, listen, Santa Claus says you can pick out whatever you want from the store, including shipping will be free. Okay. So I went on shopping.
Oh, you did?
And when I bought the stuff on the website, I purposely picked out the 60 ml bottles. The whole idea behind that is I've been looking for people to be able to do giveaway stuff, you know, when I'm doing my celebratory videos and whatnot. So now I'll have a bunch of the flavors that I can bottle up into 30 ml bottles and send out as a care package to you guys out there mixing your own stuff.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
You get to find out what the flavors taste like, how easily it is to make a recipe that tastes like a commercial juice, and then you can choose to purchase from him down the road.
Now, speaking of pharmaceuticals, this guy's a vaping pharmacist.
The vaping chemist.
Yes. In his lab.
I wasn't quick enough.
No.
This is the first time that I've run up the steps that I actually been a little bit out of breath.
Wow.
Because I had to run down the street after the truck. He left a little note on the front door, and I'm like, I know exactly what that package is. Hold on a second. He had parked down the road, so I had to run down the sidewalk, barefoot and all. I'm like, hello? He's like, you're from over there, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I got a package for you. I'm like, yeah, I know.
No shit, Sherlock.
You rang the doorbell. You left me a note.
I didn't think you had anything else for us, matey.
And I wasn't even expecting it. It wasn't a typical post office. I, subscribe to the daily notification of what mail and what packages you're getting. So I know whether I need to be concerned about being here to receive the packages or not. So I looked on the thing this morning. There was nothing scheduled to arrive. Friday, I got an email from the Australian postal system letting me know that it landed in the country, and it's in the country, in the United States. Cleared customs on its way here. And then it's an express mail package, so it's like 1-2 days max to get here. Because if it lands in Los Angeles, they're going to ship it, and it's going to drop in Pittsburgh, and then the Pittsburgh distribution is going to bring it out to my local mail carrier. But
that's one thing you've got gang good for you over there is your mail system. I was a shite over here.
Yeah, well, just like banks, they've closed a ton of them. A whole bunch of them. Saving money.
Jason Clouds and Flavrz Music said, nothing better than vape mail. For me, vape mail is an addiction. Well, it can get that way.
Yes, it certainly is, and it is not as frequent as it used to be. But then again, I had to cut back on my vape mail packaging anyway because I literally got a whole laundry basket full of stuff that I haven't even opened yet.
I mean, that's the contradiction. A lot of people say like vaping is cheaper than smoking. Now that's subjective because it depends how far you want to go with your vaping.
Listen, if you go and you buy yourself something and you enjoy it, I know people that are still vaping the Aegis Legend.
I've got one of them sitting in my cupboard.
And they keep using the same thing, and they have no desire to try and find anything else that works.
I'm on me the one I use for out and about for work. I pick this up all the time. I'm on the Arcbox. Absolutely love this for just picking it up and going out and about. It's rugged, it's tough, it's mint. And I, normally like when I come in, I normally take the Addy or whatever's on it and go and put it on something else. But at the moment, I've just left it the way it is. It's a cracking little mod.
Yeah, I got one too.
Yeah, cracking little mod. Absolutely love it.
And on top of it is the Fat Rabbit.
Well, I've got the Arbiter 2 on mine. Like I say, I'm absolutely cracking little mod.
The Fat Rabbit, I have a love-hate relationship with it.
We know that one, don't we?
Yeah, I took this one to Tennessee with me, and I had it on the Wotofo Odin, and it decided to puke its guts out all over this, and this is not an IP67 rated tank, so almost had the batteries going in a thermal runaway.
Oh dear, that's
Fortunately, the biggest defect about this was its biggest savior that day, because as soon as you put this down, the battery door wants to open. That's the defect about the Wotofo Odin. If you put this down too hard, it releases the batteries.
Well, like I say, that can be turned into a good thing if you need it.
It turned into a good thing that day. However, I'm like, you know what? This would be a perfect thing to pull out as a retro vape and give it another chance. Give it another shot.
Is that the V1?
Because if I put it, this is the Fat Rabbit.
Or the Fat Rabbit. Is there a V2 with that out? Which one have I got? I know
the Dead Rabbit. There's 3 versions of the Dead Rabbit.
It could be that. But I know I've definitely got that kicking about.
Anyway,
definitely got that kicking about somewhere. Cause it
It
just
won't open.
because all that E juice that's leaked
It
all
had
over.
that bloody quarter turn bottom part, and then you had to like wiggle it to get it out. It's been sitting for maybe 6 months now, and it will not open. I literally will have to take pliers to it to try and get this thing open.
The e-liquid's probably welded it together where it's seeped
There's
through.
no e-liquid. I cleaned it out. That's just water vapor you see in there.
All right, so it's seized up solid. Jesus. That happened to one of mine. What was it? Was it the QP? I think it was one of the QP ones.
Yeah, the
I had.
QP design you were telling me about.
That's seized up on the bottom threads.
But I love this Arc Fox. It was my
Oh.
all-day vape for a long time.
Yeah,
And I,
that's-
did a video on it, and this actually got pulled out because I'm working on the research to do the video on the Mag 18. And I know a bunch of people have done the review on it. Matter of fact, I spent time yesterday watching other people's reviews on it to see what they thought about it. And the thing that really is starting to burn my wires is the fact there's no temp control on it. Okay, there's no temp control on the main menu. That's a great thing. But you should be able to access like 3 clicks or 4 clicks to get into a secret menu, an advanced menu, and then be able to turn on temp control. And they went back to the basics.
I think I've seen.
And
a
here's
couple
my
of-
problem.
I think I've seen a couple of mods that are not including temp control now, because I think, like I said before, come on, it's not really as popular as it used to be. So maybe there's a shift. I think it's the die-hard vapors who still use it, especially for your RTAs and RDAs and stuff.
I don't have a problem with that. That's fantastic. They want to put out a beginner's advanced kit.
Yeah.
No worries. Here you go. Here's the Rigel kit. This is part of their 10th anniversary. I picked this thing up for 15 or 20 bucks, something like that.
Wow.
Dual battery. No temp control. Very simple mod. Fantastic. Retail price of that is 40 bucks for the mod and 45 for the kit.
Sometimes simplicity is the best way to go. Sometimes being something so simple is the best way to go.
But here's the Mag P3.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. TFV 18 tank. Same as the one that comes with the Mag 18. Achilles heel. Right there in the corner. The best feature of this was touchscreen, and they nailed touchscreen. It worked perfectly. It was perfectly responsive. If anything was an issue, you wipe the thing off, and it would work 100%. But this is not Gorilla Glass. It's just a glass over top the sensor panel for your touchscreen. Dropped it once, and you can see the corner right there.
Yeah, bonk.
Afraid
Ouch.
to use this because, well, if it breaks again, then what are you going to do? It's going to be completely useless. And this is the second one that I bought, and both of them cracked the screen.
Holy moly.
Work on the
man.
car one time. And I love it. I love the pistol grip. This is the most ergonomic fit.
They are. They're pretty nice to hold, aren't they? Yeah.
I love it. And I love the pistol fire. That is the most comfortable fire. My whole hand fits on it. So the height is perfectly fine. But the Achilles heel for this was that. So when I saw the Mag 18, I'm going, okay. They decided to go like an Aegis and put the screen on the front of it, and you still get the pistol grip.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really nice. Well, I find out there's no temp control in it. $100 Smock advanced kit, and there's no temp control. And I know most people don't use temp control. Don't care to.
Well,
But if that's a fact, then I'm going to suggest people go get the Arc Fox.
Oh, it's awesome little mod.
It's not
Absolutely.
trigger fire, but it is side fire.
Yeah.
It's not as ergonomic because it doesn't have that pistol curvature grip to it. But this is a fantastic mod. And now that it's been out for a long time, I'm sure you can pick it up for dirt cheap.
To be honest, I think this is probably one of the best mods they've brung out to date. Really do. It's absolutely, I mean, you know, like I say, not so long ago, they update that chip and everything, and the chip they're using now inside the mod's absolutely mint as well. So probably one of the best ones they've brung out so far.
Yeah, they're up on, well, the 10th iteration of it. It's the IQIXQ or IQX10.
Yeah. Well, I think
IQX with X representing Roman numeral 10.
Yeah, that's what that just changed it for Smok when they done that chip. All the mods after that have just been absolutely outstanding. They've been really good.
Yeah, and their temp control is damn near as good as the DNA.
It's pretty. That's what I've always said. Like, you've got your DNAs, your Yeehys. I think they're starting to like slow down a bit because all the other manufacturers are catching up to them now with the likes of the temp control.
Well, once you nail it, you nail it. I mean, you can't get better at it.
I mean, like I say, Smok are actually nailing it on their mods, and everybody used to slate Smok for, you know, this, the crap and all this. Look at them now.
It may not be 100% accurate as far as temperature goes. Like if you were to measure the temperature output of a DNA board and measure the output of the Smok board, there might be like a 5% variance in the Smok. But whatever that variance is, it's consistent, which means you can compensate for it and go, I just want to bump it up 5 degrees. So your readings are going to be different than a DNA, but you're going to get the identical result.
But they're pretty, like I say, they're pretty damn close now. Like a few years ago, they were miles apart. They were way, way, way off. You know what I mean? Now,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, to somebody, the average user, right, who was doing temp and they took a Smok and a DNA, they probably wouldn't notice much difference, to be honest with you.
Welcome, Janine.
In this day and age, they probably wouldn't notice.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful mod. They get the styling 100% right with the versions that they came out with, but I was happy with the styling of the Mag P3 and a rubberized exterior finish on it, just like the Aegis Legend.
I think that's what started the ball rolling with these. It was the Aegis Legend, you know, that come out with the original rubbers and all that kind of stuff with these, and you know, people have followed on suit. There's, you know, I think there's the Dogpaw one out as well that's doing the similar thing. They've all kind of cottoned onto that Aegis Legend type of look, and it works. You know, it works.
The only one that does their own thing is Lost Vape.
Yeah.
With their cyborg and their
I've got the
metallic, rugged feel to them.
Look, even
look at the Dilemma Quest.
Look,
you
there's
know,
the Drag X.
And I love the C-frame design.
The Drag X are going along the same road. That's the same kind of scenario, you know, the leather front. Everybody's kind of following. The designs are all kind of following suit. I mean, look what the top side done to Squonkin, man. It killed it overnight, didn't it?
And this is the same basic ideology behind that, with the exception of lighting.
Oh, that bloody luminous thing you've got. It's like a bloody... Look at it. Jesus Christ.
There's one that doesn't have the Freemax Maxis Max. It's got the same pod style that you have.
Oh, it is. You should take one of them out when you go camping, so if you get lost in the dark, you just put it on and go, there he is.
No. The one that I sent you is the one you use for that, because it's got a torch on the bottom of it.
But even so, you don't need the torch, you just need the light show.
But I love the screen on this one.
It would be like a scene out of E.T., wouldn't it? You could go in the woods, turn it on, there'd be like little loads of lights, and I think, oh, there's a spaceship landed over there.
Listen, I think we've reached the peak of development for these things. Yes, they can fine-tune them anymore, but at this point, it's going to be the diminishing law of returns. You know what I mean? How much better can you get when you've got it down to 0.001 second firing reaction time and a consistent output?
I'm just wondering if the designs will go back to the classics. You know, I mean, I don't know if they're released over here, but the mobile phones, they've actually re-released the old Nokias, and that's all it is. It's a phone. It's got no screen, nothing. It makes phone calls. That's it. And it's so popular, honestly, it sounds like hotcakes. You know what I mean? I wonder if the vaping kind of went back where you just got a basic mod and that's all it does. And people would say, you know, good.
Yeah, that's what we did last week.
Yeah. Just a simple device.
There's no wattage control or nothing on this. You as an advanced builder need to make sure that you put the appropriate resistance in here. Works great.
Going back to the mech days, I can't see that happening.
Battery technology has come a long way since when they first came out and introduced mechs.
Oh God,
You know, it's kind of like the alkaline battery versus the old-fashioned batteries. The alkalines will hold their charge a lot longer, and then they'll drop off.
That's right, yeah. The same with the RDAs and RTAs. It was like a flavor war, then it was an airflow war, and then there was just different bits of technology moving on, and then everybody's kind of settled for the Posters deck now. That's the more popular thing that's gone. You know what I mean? It's weird. Well, it's game how far can you push it.
We need to finally get around to doing the Serpent Elevate. We didn't have a chance to do that last week. And I do have a mystery for you today.
Oh.
One I'm sure you have never seen.
What on earth is that? I'll have a look. NCR Garage Hero. That's not a 15mm socket by any chance, is it?
No.
Holy moly. Ah.
You know what makes this thing special?
Wow.
How about a coilless dripper? Let me
Holy moly. What is that?
ceramic.
That's ceramic.
You know how the pods use ceramic?
Aye. Wow. No, that's different. I have never seen that.
My question is, how do you wick it?
I'm kind of puzzled as well. That was just literally what went through my head there. Wow.
Do you run the wick underneath that thing?
I don't know. That's an odd one.
Very odd.
How the hell do you wick it? So that's clamped in there. You've got wicking holes down the bottom there, I take it, yeah?
Yeah. You got juice wells.
Juice wells, yeah.
There isn't a single video that I've been able to find on how you're supposed to wick this.
The only thing I can think of is you go over the top and down the sides. Off the top of the head.
But then the airflow's not going to hit the heated vapor.
But if you go underneath, it's not really going to do anything, is it?
Well, you could go underneath, but have it come up. You know what I mean? Come up halfway up the heating element. And assume the capillary action is going to saturate this ceramic? I don't know.
So where is the airflow on it? Where does it come in? You've got your juice wells down there. The airflow is just a side airflow through the cap. That's it.
Airflow comes in from the side.
Through them channels. You can see you've got them. But I thought that's where it was mounted. There, airflow channels
It
on the
is.
side.
That's where the airflow comes through.
How is it mounted?
The chip or the ceramic coil replacement is screwed in. You can replace it.
All right. That's a weird one. Well, there's two options, either along the bottom or over the top.
So if you put the wicking over the top of this,
Because your airflow is going to come in, it's coming in the side there, isn't it? So it's going to hit it. But no, I see what you mean.
so like if you were to, run the wicking underneath there and assume that this is going to saturate, I don't know. There isn't a single video out there about this.
But for the airflow, to see how it's positioned there, you would think it would be positioned like 100, like 90 degrees. Because to me, the airflow is hitting.
Yeah, you would think that the airflow would come in from the side of the flat plate.
That's what I'm saying.
But this cap only lets you put it on so that the airflow comes straight through the side here at the side of that heating element.
So I'm saying, which seems very thin, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Is that going to mean, will it get hot? I've never vaped a ceramic device, to be honest with you, so I couldn't really tell you what the vape it is. Jason Cloud's asking what's it called again. What was it? A garage? What is it? The need instruction manual.
No instruction manual.
NCR Garage Hero. That is so odd. That is so bloody odd. I want to Google it.
It says not for huge cloud vaping, not for salt-based e-liquids, not to quench the heating element, not to be used with mechanical mods.
Is it? Would you think it was a mouth to lung?
Well, it's a pretty big top opening.
I'm just
35 to 45 watts everyday vaping.
Hang on a minute. How the hell does he work that?
Right there.
Just see if there's any pictures online to show how it's wicked. That one, I can't see. That's a crap hook. Yep, it's going over the top. It's going over the top of it. Hang on, can I? Oh, get off, man.
You can do a screen share.
I'm just seeing if I can get the picture up for you so I can. This is an NCR concept, but it looks similar. So hang on a minute. I'll bring my thing up. I'll share my screen just to see if you can. You've got it disabled at the minute, bud. You have to enable it.
There.
According to that, he is going over the top. If I just plonk that on for you then, can you see that? Bloody hell, where is it? There, can you see that? How he's gone? It looks like
Hold
a
on.
flat cop.
Give me a second.
I don't think it's the actual one, but it looks like it's similar, and then they put the cotton over the top. I don't know if chat can see that. I don't know if anyone can see that. You see what I mean? How he's got it going over the top. Whether that's the correct way or not, I don't know, but that's just what I've just found. Which is very odd.
Yeah. I think we should give that thing a try. I'm glad you found that.
Well, it looks like it's like a flat. I'm just wondering if he's using
Muji pad.
Muji pad, yeah. I'll turn that off now. But yeah, that definitely looks like the way that that's the way I would have thought. That was the only thing I could think of that would work.
Just give it a shot.
It's very odd. I don't know if there was an image of one, but it looked like a mess. I thought, well, you couldn't even see it. But yeah, it's a coilless tank atomizer. It'd be interesting to see how it vapes, buddy. Very interesting. Well, we'll knock that off. Get him back on. I'm just getting everybody back to normal here because I'm lost. There we go. Everybody's back on.
0.07.
Holy moly.
Is there even a mod that's going to fire that low?
Holy moly.
Will that resistance change with the fluid on there?
See, my knowledge is very limited on these things like the ceramics. I mean, I've seen it.
I've never seen another one. I've heard of ceramic technology coils being used in the little, I think the Vupu devices. And a lot of the disposables have ceramic coils in them. Aspire has a ceramic coil. It's a ceramic coil, and then they have, round wire on the inside of it.
Yeah, apparently when you put, if you go over Ian Thomas has seen, he says he's seen one and the cage holds the wick against the coil. So I'm just wondering, like, when you if you go over the top and you put the cap on, it pushes it against the ceramic. Bit like a mesh. You've got to have have a contact with it. Space Turtle once said, "I have a feeling you shouldn't put your best liquid in that."
That's the joyous thing about making your own liquid, is you can use as much or as little as you want, because you can always replace it.
The guys in chat are kind of seen as there a cage in there to hold the wick against the actual ceramic. Is it in the cap or anything like that?
Nope. Just looks like a chuff cap.
It's pretty wide.
And it's notched so that you can only put it on to line up these holes with the side airflow.
Wow. That's weird.
Airflow has to come through this opening. And I just dropped the cap.
Holy moly.
Excuse me while I go crawling on the floor.
The piece sitting beside it goes over it and it's wicked correctly, and I found a video that says it sucks ass.
I don't doubt that one bit.
That's one way of reviewing it. It sucks ass.
But this was such an oddity. I'm like, I gotta have it. And it's still available for sale.
Jason Cloud said it's very neat, but based on what he found, it's poorly designed and doesn't work well, but he's interested to see what you think. I don't know if he's going to describe it as sucks ass like, but you never know. Holy moly, it's a weird one. I'll hand that to you, like, you found a belter there, like, I mean, it's it's challenging by the looks of it. Wow, that's just so weird. Well, there's my dog going now. Give me a sec. Oh. You didn't lie down. Sorry about that, but I got the same thing there as Alex did. The bloody door went. It was a package, but unfortunately it wasn't vape mail. Damn.
Bills. Mailman can keep them.
Wow, that's very, very odd.
Well, it's interesting.
I'm interested to see what you're going to put it on to fire it.
I'm trying to think what mod fires the lowest of all of them.
A DNA, mate.
It's the one I trust the most. And it's only supposed to be at 35 watts, what the package said.
35 watts.
Good old reference mod. Used by universities to run studies.
Ooh. Well, that's interesting.
That's what it was designed for. Internal lipo. And this one's been replaced. The board inside. So what do I put on this thing?
I don't know, but I think you want to put plenty of it on, whatever it is. Jesus.
Well, since I love my candy cane so much.
Jason Cloud's got prayers for success. Well, boys and girls, you may be about to witness one awful dry hit. Holy moly.
For wicking purposes, you would think that, this is the ideal dripper because you're literally dripping onto the wicking, onto the top of the wicking.
I can see that side of it.
And then it runs down into the wells. The idea behind it is intriguing. I don't think it's going to work quite as well as we'd like it to.
Oh, no.
I am going to.
That's your parcel. Sorry, there's just people coming in, children coming in. Shut the door.
No worries.
It's just getting because the dog is just closing doors and things while they're out. Right, back to it.
I tried to compress it a little bit.
I might record this bit just to see if it does go pear-shaped. When you do that video intro at the beginning, you've got to put this in. You got to put this in.
Okay.
Here we go, guys. It's almost like I'm taking a 2-to-1 vape, isn't it? We're just so curious to see what happens. Go on, go on.
0.07 ohms. And it's at 35 watts, right?
Okay, that's looking good.
35 watts. For everyday vaping.
Not for huge crowd vape. I love the kid. Not for this, not for that. Well, what's it for then?
For everyday vaping. 35 to 45 watts.
Jason Clouds has got the worst mesh dry hit the world has ever seen. 5, 4, 3, 2. We've got to count down. You're a brave man. There's nothing happening. Was actually anything happening? Oh, I don't know. There you go. And it's
Holes are lined up. 35 watts is what it's set at. But I don't see it making anything.
well, that was a friggin' anticlimax and a half, isn't it?
Yes, it was. Go to 45, see if this thing does anything.
Just
With the resistance that low.
That was such an anticlimax. It was just like our UK's attempt to launch a rocket off a plane that just totally failed. Does it actually get? Oh, we're seeing some vape. What was that? We're seeing something.
I'm wondering if I should have dry burned that ceramic.
I burned. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Well, you don't look impressed, folks. Nope.
It's a shitty idea.
What's the airflow like? Is there plenty of air in it, or is it
Feels like I'm breathing.
too really wide?
There's really no resistance to it.
Well, there you go, folks. That's the first item he's going to put in the gift package. Just to get rid of it.
Okay, that boiled the juice.
Well, you're producing beer, so that's... Maybe, I don't know, you've got to give it a few hits to get it to warm up.
I've also flooded the deck on it. So I'm getting a little spit back.
Because it's not getting hot enough, that's why.
Woo! Purged hot liquid all over the place.
Crank it up to 80 watts if you can burn it out. Holy moly.
Okay, so it does work.
It kind of works. You're getting vape,
Yes.
I'll get that.
Yes. I completely agree with you. It is just a novelty.
It's got to be.
It'll never be an all-day vape for anyone.
And it's
The
so
delight of having hot juice blasted all over your face when you purge it.
Not
The
good.
lack of any appreciable flavor. If this candy cane didn't have any menthol in it, I wonder if I would be able to taste anything.
Probably not. Wow, man.
It's cute, like a baby doll.
I wonder what the seals were on it.
Well, they didn't sell out their first thing because, as you can see, 3F or 3Vape or whatever their website's called, 3F still has it for sale.
Not even giving them away. Oh, Jesus. I mean, I like the idea that people are trying something different, but I mean, you know, you've got to make sure it bloody works before you release it. Like, you know what I mean?
And here's the kicker, okay? Just looking at this forum,
Aye.
the original NCR Garage RTA is a coilless tank atomizer. It comes with SGS compliance heating element. What's that mean?
A what?
CHS e-liquid storing Camelback hydration system.
Okay.
Camelback hydration system. In other words, you lay the wick over top of the heating element.
Yeah. Oh,
But
well,
it says it's supposed to be 0.2 ohm.
that ain't reading 0.2, is it?
It's 0.07. And it's supposed to be 30 to 40 watts. That's not what the box is. Safe power with 1 million puffs.
It'll take a million puffs to taste anything.
Well, they do admittedly put into their description here that the NCR Garage Tank also has a mellower taste, which brings you stronger feeling and features spit-free, easy build, and dry heating cleaning.
None of the above are true. Jesus wept.
Well, you dry burn your coils when you're trying to clean them after you use them for a while and they're all gunked up. Why wouldn't you do the same thing with this one? My only fear is this is a ceramic element. If you heated it too much,
I don't know.
you might actually get some flavor out of it.
The
Maybe?
actual product comes with white PC tank tube, not gold tank tube. Okay. That's an odd statement.
Yeah.
Wow. Strong recommendation, squonk bottom. Yeah, fuck squonk. Jesus. That's odd.
That's a definite novelty item.
But that's just when.
But I'm surprised it does actually work. Sort of.
To an extent.
At least it makes vapor.
Produces vapor, that's what it.
Wonder what Stanton Glantz would say about this.
E-cigarettes are less toxic than cigarettes.
There we go. Even this one? Do you think, Stanton Glantz, do you think that even this one is better for you than a cigarette?
Why are people using them? Well, the most common reason cited in surveys among adults is that they're a safer alternative to cigarettes.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked you, Stanton. I asked you, puff for puff, is this one safer than a cigarette? That's what I want to know.
I think it's fair to say that an e-cigarette user, puff for puff, is getting less carcinogens than a smoker.
Well, thank you. That's what I wanted you to answer. I don't know why you make it so hard sometimes to try and figure out the truth about this stuff. Does vaping help you quit smoking?
But using
there are
that,
some people who e-cigarettes help them quit. And just based on all the personal testimonials, I'm sure that's true.
Well, then, I don't know why you keep putting out all this other information.
But using that device, you're getting less of everything. Remember with carcinogens, you're getting less of...
Less flavor. Stanton Glantz would thoroughly approve of this device, though.
Oh, yeah.
Hardly any vapor. No real flavor to attract anybody, especially kids.
E-cigarettes have this great potential for harm reduction and to keep people from smoking cigarettes.
Even this one? Probably especially this one, he would say.
I think that's the safest one on the planet because basically all you're sucking through that is fresh air. Oh, well, we'll take that one as a no then. Wow. I wonder if that would be FDA approved.
Anti-vaping propaganda is brain poison. Yeah, it really is.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we solved that mystery.
Yep, big style.
Let's go back to my Bushido V3. And now the DNA is going, hello, you just changed the dripper. What's going on here? Yes, I did change that. Thank you. And I freshly wicked it up before the show because I want to find out how our honey pear that we made, Vapor Chef honey pear that we made last week, tastes now that it's been sitting here for a week.
Yep, William Dobson's just ducking out. He's got to sort the kids out. So thanks for popping in, Seb.
Thank you, sir. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Hey, my God, that was just I. Just imagine the cost to research that. The cost to research and develop that, and it's all for nothing. God damn.
You should have spent a little more time. And come to realize that it is the irregular surface area that causes this to effectively vaporize, and for capillary action to wick up new liquid to replace whatever is vaporized.
Pretty simple, isn't it? Holy moly. Come on, people.
DNA mod's not happy with me.
Yeah, because you put that piece of shit on the top of it, that's why.
It's still not. Doesn't hold a grudge.
Sid, how dare you put that on me? Holy moly. Happy days, eh?
What does it say the resistance is of this coil?
Oh, you want to check that, mate?
Nah, that's not right.
Uh-oh. Oh, it hasn't broke your mod, has it?
Did you connect a 0.38 ohm coil? Yes.
Yes.
Then why didn't you update the setting?
Press the button. Really?
It doesn't want to change.
Try and measure again. Measure.
It's mad at me. You're right.
Yep. You
It
pissed
said,
it
you
off.
put that piece of shit on this?
Yeah, you've upset it. You've definitely upset it.
When all else fails, check your gear.
This is it. This is it.
You want to know why it's irregular?
I've got a liquid in it, has it?
The 510 pin was not tightened down.
Oh.
It was protruding and not accurately transmitting the electricity to the coil.
No, that's not good.
Now, it says, did you connect a 0.38 ohm coil? Yes.
Hey, what are them? Ooh, don't like that.
Why didn't it change the resistance on the top?
That's odd.
Well, off it comes. I will put you aside and hook you up to the computer later and find out what your issue is. I will force you to forgive me even if I have to update the firmware.
Just maybe need a bit of a clean one.
See what the smock says. Smock says 0.37 ohms, 41 watts. I'm not pissed off at you. So push the button and enjoy.
There you go. Hallelujah.
No sweetness. The pear is definitely strong in there. I gotta put some sweetness in this.
Ian Thomas
It's
has
literally
suggested-
absolutely no sweetness whatsoever.
Ian Thomas suggested there, scroll to the menu again, Hunky Vape, and use the mode button and try again. Oh, there you go.
I'll do that while this is.
Shake and bake. I don't know where mine's gone. What am I doing? It must be in there.
Put her on the vibrator for a while.
Buzzer. Yeah, so I'm over the moon with all that juice. Well pleased with all that juice.
Flip top dripper.
Oh, you've got the little flippy top, haven't you?
And you can flood this thing, and the checkmark airflow will keep it from flying out the sides. Still no sweetness whatsoever. Which is sad because this thing smells fantastic. I get no honey out of it whatsoever. I do get a pear.
Pear is quite a potent flavour though, isn't it? You've got to be very with it.
No sweetness. What was in this recipe?
Yeah, you need to check that out, boy. Check it out. Excuse me. I would definitely close that page down.
Apricot was at 0.5, honeydew was at 3, pear was at 6, and strawberry ripe was at 5.
That's probably why the pear's there's probably too much pear in that. It's a very strong flavour anyway, isn't it, pear? I would say if that's your predominant flavour, I would knock that back. I would knock the pear back.
Yep. We'll cut that in half, cut that back, get the same as the honeydew, and see what this thing tastes like.
As I've had pear ones before, and honestly, the pear just wipes everything out. It's really, really strong flavour.
It doesn't have any real mouthfeel either. It's not dry. Doesn't dry your mouth out like some of the other juices I've mixed up before. Mary Nixon, hello and welcome.
Hello. I had a pear and apple one, and I couldn't get any apple at all. It was just all pear.
So just cut back the pear until you can actually taste the other stuff in there.
Possibly. I think it's a strong, potent flavour, pear like.
That's what takes the time when you're developing recipes, and when you find somebody else's recipe that interests you. Like this one seems like a very interesting recipe. Apricot's at 0.5%. So let's cut back the things that potentially are way too high first, and then we can start bumping up other things to try and balance it.
Jason Clouds is heading up. Thank you for joining us, bud.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming by. With our shenanigans that are going on.
The shenanigans, that's a word I haven't heard for a long time. Shenanigans. A shenanigan.
Yeah, you're probably right. The pear is what's just throwing this off.
I mean, I'm no expert, but I know by just...
Well, what is everybody else mixing pear at?
No, when I've had pear, I found it a very, very potent flavour.
Pear, 5% is good and strong. Higher will taste like candy, a bit synthetic. Well, I get the synthetic aspect of it.
Yeah.
Preferred single flavors 4.5. Excellent alone at 15%.
Whoa.
Wow. 3 to 4% is enough. Breathe 1+ days. So if there are some alcohol carriers in this flavoring, I can see why they say let it breathe. And that's just simply pulling the cap off, leaving it exposed to the oxygen, so the alcohol evaporates out of it. All right, let's do that. I'll come back to it tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I see it. You can drop the pear, dude.
Well, I'm going to mix up another batch with the pear at half the percentage that this one is, and give that a try. But the whole idea behind this is, you know, this is all a little chemistry experiment for all of us to sit there and play with.
Dusty County
and
Road,
even if it was a good recipe, we'd still have to customize it.
Dusty County Road's gone down the super sweet road. He says it would have benefited from 1% super sweet.
Yeah. Well, I did put another drop or two in there, so we're at the 1% now. It didn't do enough to the flavor. The artificialness of it was still very much present.
It's too much pear. It's like chemically in it. It's so horrible.
It wasn't even a chemically thing. It was just like that. When I'm breathing, I can smell what it tastes like.
Ooh.
But it doesn't have the flavor that matches what I smell.
I'm with you.
So.
But you see it. You can have a bit fiddling, faddle with it, and you never know. Might turn out nice.
So looking at other people's reviews, the pear is a good ingredient. Some people use it 7%, so we're at 6. Averaging mixing qualities of 5.6, minimum use is 0.1, maximum use is 30%. Who the heck would use it at 30%?
30? Wow.
The numbers are all over the place.
That would probably be a pear one at 30%. You wouldn't bother putting anything else in.
That's why you got a single flavor test recipes. Make up a batch at 1%, 10 mils at 1%, make up 10 mils at 5%, and then see what they're like.
Yes, there's a lot of different numbers, isn't there? There's no trend going, is there?
Well, a lot of people are 3, 4, 5%.
Yeah.
Which is scanning through. 3 seems to be the lowest that I've seen.
Yeah.
But that's why this is fun, and you get to play with stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, me.
Yeah, I think that pear is just too strong.
Yeah.
Bump that off to the side.
You can see it.
And we'll take a look at...
There's room to play with it.
This French custard that we made last week.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this one. Oh, yeah, it's gone the typical French custard flavour. Colour, sorry. Mm-hmm.
Smells like a vanilla custard.
I'll see if it's French. I hope it hasn't got any snails in it.
Bonjour, mon ami. Welcome to my lungs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mary Nixon, she's just commented there. She bought the Wotofo Nudge and she was finally able to build it yesterday. Messed up a few coils before she got it right. Nice RGA. Well done, Mary.
Very good.
Awesome. That's what it's all about.
Don't be afraid to play with it and experiment it. And just, we found that out numerous times where you just bump the coil up or down just a hair can totally change how much flavor something puts out.
Yeah, we still do that today with what we'll get. You know, you play about to get, where you want it.
See you later, Ian. Thank you.
Take care, Ian.
Or were you saying goodbye to somebody else, Chasing Clouds?
I was thinking, chasing
later,
clouds.
CCFs.
Chasing
later,
clouds.
Chasing Clouds of Flavor Reviews.
Sorry, Ian. We're trying to get rid of you.
That's a very rich custard that is not developed to its full potential yet.
So,
doesn't have a lot of sweetness to it, but that's okay. As the custard develops, it develops its own sweetness, I found. That's different than what you would get from putting super sweet in.
I think that's the only downside with the custards. They need a little bit of steep time.
Yeah. Comebacks after 3 or 4 weeks, totally different animal.
Yeah.
We found that out with Will's cookie custard. For the longest time, this Will's cookie custard, when we were vaping on it, it was just like, it's all right. It's all right. Then we came back to it, 6 weeks later, added a couple more drops of super sweet to it, and man, did that thing shine like a beautiful bowl of custard.
Yeah. See with this one, like I say, this Reds that you done, you made this on the 29th of November, and that is just that's delicious. Absolutely, really nice.
You like that one better than the Prince, or the Prince better than that one?
I'd say it's pretty close, very close, really close.
It's amazing when you give it some time to steep.
The vanilla shines more on that, but obviously the other one's got peach in, but the vanilla on that is, it's tremendous. Nom 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 nom.
Here's
Delicious.
the random glitching I was talking about. Encoder overloaded. It just blinks out for no apparent reason.
That's odd. Well, Ian Thomas has decided to go anyway, so take care, Ian. Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming by. You know the reason he's taken off, because we've been at this for 2 hours already, and we haven't even mixed anything.
Well, the nature of the beast, isn't it?
Maybe if you would have smacked your bollocks around a little bit, maybe he would have stuck around.
Possibility.
Listen, we were talking about the hemorrhoids earlier or something else goofy. And neither one of us are drinking. That's the best part of this.
We could put it as a feature, I suppose, swing your bollocks or whatever, something like that. Well, I'm being a good boy now, I've just got a bottle of Coke there, I've had a cup of tea. School nights, you've got to be good.
That pear must be really, really strong in there, because I'm still getting that same little bit of off note, even when I put the Prince on top of it.
Yeah.
So I get that little bit of that sweetness from the custard. I get a little bit of the peachiness, some strawberries coming through. But there's this underlying off note from that other recipe.
It's like everything.
You can't have them all be winners.
No. But again, somebody else might think it's fantastic.
That is true. Flavors are so subjective.
Yeah.
On how much sweetness you like and how much, flavor volume you like to have in your recipes. Some people inherently mix higher than other people, and some people mix with hardly any flavoring whatsoever, because they're satisfied with vaping just VGPG and secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know a couple of vapes that don't use the secret sauce; they just vape. That's it. No.
Listen, I was down to 0 milligram for quite a while. I watched a video of mine from a year ago when I did the review on the Arc Fox, and I was just putting 0 milligram on.
Wow. Wow.
So
I think I'd be just cheered.
And it wasn't just because of YouTube requirements that I left the nick out. Just straight up fog juice.
Dusty County Road just said he mixed up 4 a day, and then he said scratch that out. 5, 2 blueberry mixes, 2 strawberry, and a raspberry cheesecake. Ooh, busy boy.
Awesome. And something else that you're going to realize is there are certain flavor notes that you may not be able to taste. There's a percentage of the vaping population that cannot ever taste strawberry.
I'm probably one of them. I can't taste the strawberry and then and that Prince or whatever. Nothing.
Some people just can't taste it. They're immune to that flavoring. And there's different strawberries out there, and some people can taste one but not the other, and vice versa. There's people that have it the opposite. They'll be able to taste the TFA, but they won't be able to taste the Capella.
The strawberry on its own, not a problem, but if it's maybe mixed in with something, I would find it difficult.
And that partly is the blame of the person that mixed up the recipe, because they may not have balanced it. You know, spent the time to go back and refine it one last time.
Yep. And again, just, taste buds gone blind.
But at least it's not vapor's tongue when you can't taste anything.
Oh, I hate that. I've had that a couple of times. That's why, as much as I do like me custards, I do like mix it up now and then, because obviously when you get vapor's tongue, it's horrible.
Yeah, and it's great to be able to, change things up and refresh your palate, because like the blue raspberry cotton candy, I vaped that for the longest time, and eventually got to the point where I really didn't taste any flavors when I was vaping it. It was just my all-day accustomed juice. And once I switched to a different, I tried a commercial juice, it was the cannolis or something, then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I can taste all these different flavors.
Yeah.
And then I finished off that 60 ml bottle, and I tried, the original one with the blue raspberry cotton candy, and all of a sudden I could taste it again the way it was when I first tried it.
Yeah, you've got to mix and match now and then. I think sometimes you can get accustomed to the old stay safe, this is what I like, this is what I'm going to stay with type of thing,
Something I got a notification on. Flavrz left a comment on our apple donut that we made.
All right.
He said, dragon fruit will round out the apple. Just 0.5% is all it takes. It jams up the apple. You can put a little cinnamon swirl in, like 0.2%, to increase the spiciness that you would get from the apple pie filling. And you can use butterscotch at 0.2% to increase the sweetness of the apple and make it more like the apple filling from an apple pie. Pomegranate can add some sour notes to the apple to make it more like a green apple or Granny Smith apple.
Ooh.
And instead of just using the Zeppola, you could use shortcake or pound cake to get a little more cakiness to the donut. And just a little bit of 0.5% is enough to steer that in that direction as well.
Oh.
It's nice having, experienced mixers leave comments on recipes that we create, and then gives us an idea to expand it, and that increases our knowledge of how to mix recipes together to produce a beautiful commercial quality liquid.
Well, it's like, when you made stuff like that in a recipe, it's not done and dusted. You can still play about with it. Whether you can, like you say, when you get suggestions off other guys, and it's food for thought. You could move it off to another direction type of thing. You know what I mean? Like you said, with the apple, you could bring a bit more of the apple out, or you could bring a bit more of the donut out. You can move it in different directions. You know what I mean?
Hello, Michael Redfern.
Hello, Michael Redfern. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, and it's lovely to be able to do that, see these recipes, understand how we can bend and shape the flavors to make them more towards this type of apple versus that type of apple, and
push them about.
How you can enhance and get some real flavor. It's kind of like when you first, made a meatloaf. You pulled out somebody's recipe, whether it be your grandma's recipe or whether it be a recipe you picked off of the internet or some TV cooking show, and you mixed it up and you're like, well, I'd rather have the texture be a little smoother, so I'll blend the meat a little bit more. And, it's kind of dry, so I'll adjust the breadcrumbs in it or add some ketchup into the meatloaf mixture before I bake it instead of putting it on top.
It's like you say, it's not the end all of end all. It's not necessarily the final recipe. You know, that's the beauty of it. You know, you can play around.
Hey, KVS Vapes, hello, and first time to the live. Usually watch the replay. That's awesome.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
So, random recipe for today. What are we going to mix up?
Oh, what we're going to mix up?
Let's try something that's not a custard so we can have a shake and vape. We did this Honeypearry clone, Honeypearry clone last week, and determined that the pear at 6% is too high. So for next week, I'm going to mix the batch up with that at 3%, and we'll increase the sweetness a little bit.
What about a glazed donut? What about something like that?
Well, donuts also take time to develop fully. Pure fruits.
A fruit, yeah, right. Ooh, let's think.
This is a very simple single ingredient.
I was just thinking
it's dual. You got golden pineapple at 10%. That's going to be a really strong pineapple flavor. Mango at 5% is going to be strong enough to fight in par with the Capella golden pineapple. Super sweet at 0.3% isn't going to be quite enough. At least not for my taste. And WS23 at 1% is going to be a very icy liquid.
I would dump the cooling agent, period.
Yeah, if I made this for my wife, I couldn't put that cooling agent in there. She doesn't want any of that iciness. When we first quit smoking, because she was a menthol smoker as well, she vaped a lot of iced stuff to where I didn't want any of the iced stuff at all. But as time went on, that got old.
Bloody Heisenberg, wasn't it?
I still can't believe that she likes that. That's her bed nightstand vape.
Oh,
that 60 ml bottle we bought.
It's awful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, to each their own.
It's still awful stuff.
I
don't care how many people like it. It's awful.
Now, this is a very unique recipe. V-God Luscious. It's primarily just watermelon. Watermelon's in there at 10%. We have the TFA sweetener, which is sucralose maltol, 50-50 basically, and that's at 0.5%. 0.5% is sour to make it like a sour Jolly Rancher watermelon. And Coolada, 10% at 3% in the recipe.
Coolada, ooh.
See, that's a 10% solution versus the other one was a 30% solution. So a 30% solution with 1% in the recipe is the same as this Coolada 10% at 3% in the recipe.
Why do you want cooling agents in it, man? God damn.
I've done some ones like I made the strawberry shortcake. If you put a little Coolada in there, it kind of makes it more feel like an ice cream and less like a strawberry shortcake that's hot out of the oven.
Yeah, I can't see where you come from.
Just a hint of it is all you need.
Yeah.
To steer it towards that direction.
I think that I could probably do that, but like you see, when you buy a juice with coolant, it's just normally just too much.
Well, I would call this a guava pear because sweet guava at 5% is going to be pretty strong. And they're using pear at 3%.
Ooh.
This would be a nice shake and vape, though. I mean, it's a very simple recipe.
Give it a go. Give it a bash. I would go easy on the pear, like, it's strong.
It's a 3, so this is a good way to find out what 3% pear feels like in a recipe. And this is, part of the baby steps of mixing is, learning how each flavor interacts with other flavors. Like I've mixed probably half a dozen recipes using this sweet guava before, so I know how it is, and that's about the percentage where I end up putting it in the recipes or adjusting them too.
Yeah.
This pear is something new, and this one's actually a Capella pear instead of a TFA pear.
Ooh. See, again, the different brands could be a totally different flavor, like you said, like with recipes.
Yep.
I mean,
There was no standard. There's never been any standardization between recipe manufacturers on the concentration that is, what you normally achieve at.
Yeah.
And it would have to vary as well, because a lot of these flavorings were originally designed for other uses in foods. You can use them to make candles, to scent your candles. We've done that before, where we had a candle that we bought and it smelled great in the store. And once you lit it, it was like, you don't really smell it. So we took some of our flavoring that I didn't like, vape, and dumped it in there. And it was beautiful, fragrant. It was one of those ones that you could smell it, but it never tasted like it. So we dumped it into the candle when the candle was melted on the warmer, gave it a little stir, let it set back up, light it up, and now you can actually smell it when it burns.
Bit like a candle wax melt. You put it at the top and there. Yeah.
Yep. And we were having this conversation before we started streaming today. You were asking about having to nick up a bottle of your stuff when you start making your own one-shots. And we had a conversation about the strength of your one-shot that you're going to add into for your secret sauce. Here's where you change it. I have it set at 100 because that's what my solution that I have here for secret sauce is.
All right.
You would type in here 72.
Gotcha.
And you'll see in the recipe, if it's a 72, you're going to put 2.5 mils in. Thank you, KVS Vapes. Very much appreciate that.
Oh, thank you very kindly, sir. Way! Round of applause.
Fantastic.
Awesome, my man. See, because, this is the only thing that kind of confused weather for us.
Very much appreciate that.
This is the only thing with the mix inside that confuses me is the secret sauce shit. Because, you get a normal bottle. I'm not sure the label, but that's the size. You'll get them, right? I'm not sure what's on the front, but that's the kind of stuff you buy when you buy your juice, yeah? If you want secret sauce. Now, on this bottle, it's got, oh Christ, I can't even see it. I'm not blind. It's got 18 mg stroke. I'm taking that's 1.8%. I can't even bloody see it. I'm not blind.
Okay, so what you have there is very possible in the UK for you to be limited to 20. Like in Canada, they're limited to 20 mg.
Yeah,
right.
That's basically 18. So the way I look at it, when I buy a bottle that size, which I take it there, it's a 120 ml bottle, right? You put 2 of them in to make it 3 mg nicotine strength. Would I be correct on that? Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like I said, you can just simply change this one label here. If you only were able to get yourself 20 mg for your one shot, this is what it would be. Now, this would mess up your VGPG because everything's right now in 100%. So let's say that this was a 50-50 Nick shot.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where you change your percentages here. Here's the PG content. Here's the VG content.
This one here is 70. It's 70 VG. This bottle of sauce. So it's pure VG. It's 70 VG. Pure.
70% VG, 30% PG, and your secret sauce in there is 20. Then this is you would have to put 9 mils in if your strength of your Nick shot was only 20.
I've got you.
But if your same solution was a 72, now we're down to 2.5 mil.
Got you.
And in my case, I've got 100 mg. So and now I'm down to 1.8 mils is all I need to nick up my bottle.
I'm with you now. I'm kind of getting that.
And the thing is, mine is 100% PG solution for my Nick shot.
I think this bottle here that I showed you before, the one that's got a funny colour, that's 72, and it's 0. It's 100% VG. It's got 0 PG in that one. I get where you're coming from now. That's the only bit of confusion I've had sometimes, because when you mix and if you put too much nick in, it ruins it in my eyes. You know what I mean?
Well, you'll know it right away. You'll be a really aggressive thing, and then you'll feel the effects of it too.
Yeah.
But depending on where you live and what you actually purchase, here's how you would make the adjustments to it.
I've got you. I'd rather have.
I'm using 100. The ones that you guys have been able to get up until recently was 72. Yeah. But if you bought it from a local, vape store, you'd be limited to 20. Is the cap, right?
Pretty much.
So your nick shot would be a 20 milligram.
Yeah. I've got you. No, now I know how to adapt. Yeah, I've got that.
Now you know how to adapt your recipes that you create in here based upon what you actually have on hand. Gotcha, and another best part about this super chat that I really want to thank KVS Vapes again for is my printer software worked.
Oh, it's printed out, yeah?
It actually responded to the fact that it was a super chat and printed out a separate receipt for that.
Well, hey, you're getting something right at long last.
It's finally working.
That's awesome, all right, man. I'll get away with it. So obviously that goes off your desired strength as well, yeah?
Yeah. And I'm going to jump straight to 1% for this.
Gotcha.
Because I know I like my stuff sweeter, but it's simply a 3 recipe ingredient. You've got pear at 3%. Super sweet is at 1%. And sweet guava from Capella.
So there you go, folks. That was a good explanation of your secret sauce for any beginners. Like I say, I was never ever, 100% on it. So there you go.
And the thing is, depending on where you go, you can get it in different things. Like here we have Sapphire. This is a 40% solution, 1.8 mils. And they sell it as a 20% solution, 1.8 mils.
Wow.
2 different strengths, and you need to make sure that you put the correct strength in there.
Yeah.
So the 20% is 20 milligram and the 40% is 40 milligram.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
But then you can, adjust things as needed. You can go buy 0 milligram and throw 1 shot in and you're good.
I think that's what a lot of vapors in the UK are pushing for as well. When our government finally gets around to doing their new rules and regs, I think basically they want to get rid of the 2 ml tanks and actually up the secret sauce amount. Like I say, we're 20 ml. The MJ at the minute, so I think they want to up it to maybe whatever 30, whatever, I don't know, but they want it higher.
Yeah, and you could actually put limitations in there so that if you're buying it for DIY, you could buy it up to 100 mil.
Yeah.
Or 50 mil. Because the thing is, if you're trying to make, a salt nick solution for a little device like, this Freemax Onyx, or didn't even have it on me, the X-Slim, because it's making such a small amount of vapor, you're going to want, a 20 milligram final product. And if you have 20 milligrams to start with, by the time you add flavors, you're actually cutting that down away from that 20. You'll never get to 20.
There you go. That's another question to add on to my original question. Those percentages, obviously for base, would they still be the same for salts? Because I like a salt rather than a base.
They are. The difference between them is how your body reacts to it, and the salt is pH adjusted to be less harsh on your throat when you're breathing it in.
That's why I go for the salts. It's just a smoother vape in my eyes.
It's just smoother. That's it. Yeah. It gets rid of that whole throat hit.
But then
that's the only real difference.
But all the quantities are pretty much exactly the same, yeah? Either way.
Yeah. Now, technically, there are some different kinds of salts. I think there's 3 different kinds of salts.
Oh, yeah.
And the 3 different salts react differently to different flavors. Some of them prefer, like a certain, like a fruits, and then some of them prefer more like the bakeries.
Yeah, and your sweets.
And there are some flavors that, prefer the 3rd kind of salt.
Yeah.
But that's beyond our reach, and most of the time we're lucky if we can even find a salt that we can use to mix up.
I mean, I think what I get, again, it's just them 10 milli bottles of whatever, there's nothing, it's not a various kind of, it's just a general, that's what we sell, that's what you get type of thing, you know what I mean? But again,
there's a lot of us that are grateful for even being able to access it.
Yeah. Like I say, it's like, it's probably one of the things, like you say, there's different variations that aren't readily available to the consumer as such, you know what I mean? They'll just say, right, there you go, that's your salt, or there you go, that's your base, that's what you get, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, salts are heavier than free base.
Yeah.
Or you need a little more salt. Which brings up another topic that I haven't even covered or glanced over, is adding saline to your mix.
Really? No way.
Actually, Mowgli Vape sent me the recipe for my lovely eggnog recipe.
Oh, yeah.
And part of his recipe is sterile water.
Really?
He adds 10% sterile water to his mix.
Wow.
So, haven't tried that. And there are recipes out there that use saline solution as well. The problem is that the salt that's in there is going to gunk up your coils, because as that evaporates, yes.
Now, what do you mean by sterile water? You mean deionized water, or just?
There's Mowgli right there. Saline's a coil gunker, but it tastes good. Nice to have you on the show, buddy.
Ah.
It's sludgy.
Oh, lovely.
That's why your recipe had distilled water in there, not saline solution.
That's what I was thinking of, distilled water, not or deionized water, for that matter.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, whenever I was making the fog juice, that's what I was using. I wasn't using PG, I was using distilled water. Vegetable glycerin and distilled water.
Wow.
And that's flavoring ingredients. It was the eggnog recipe. I sent it a while back on Facebook.
Holy moly. I never knew. There you go, you see. You learn something new every day in this game.
That's the fun part about it. You're never done learning.
Yeah.
All right, so there's our simple recipe. I'm going to save this one. There's the final.
Oh, yes, just a little bit of news for you folks. I've actually started a little flavour pair list on ELF, so I've got about, I don't know, 4 or 5 flavours up there, so I've started. I've opened the account on ELR, so there you go.
Fantastic. Now you can sit there and put in the stuff that you've already got.
That's what I'm saying. I just literally have. I've been putting some stuff in, just figuring out how you get on with it, and yep. So the vaping heat is on ELR. Happy days.
All right, so we're using the Pear Capella, and we're only going to need 0.9. This already has some stevia in it.
Yeah.
Which, if you didn't know, is a sweetener.
We can see your scales this week.
Yeah, I moved the cameras around and stuff, and I had to buy a friction arm for the face cam that is right in front of me. Plus, because it's so close to the monitor, I had to buy a right angle USB-C for it so that the cable actually can push the camera back further.
Yeah, we can actually see you're at 0.85, 0.85 there. 0.91, that's good enough. See, we can read it now.
Fantastic. 0.32 for this, and this likes to spit out because it's in a big bottle.
Oh man, so awesome. Hello.
Maybe I should blow on it.
Very careful.
I'm not going to complain if it's over. I'll be honest with you.
Oops, it should have been that, but now it's that. That'll do. Excuse me. Hey, bang on the button now, Jon. You're getting good.
And this is my bigger bottle. I had a little bottle like this. 1.54.
Ooh. Sweet guava. Get in there, lovely.
Wow, that smells a lot better than the TFA guava.
Really?
Smells sweeter.
It's awesome. Looking good. Looking good.
Whoops.
What you doing?
1.86. I got 2.2 in there.
Oh, shit. Man.
That's all right. I'm just going to put it in a little pod system. Might be a little throaty, but other than that, I'll be fine. All right.
What the hell?
PG.
What the hell? What if you've got a 70-30 VG mix? You just add them two totals together and just bang it all in as one hit.
Like, I could change this recipe right now. Right now, this recipe is set up as a 70-30.
Yeah.
Being that I went over on the Nick, I could go and adapt this or edit this. And I can change what I want the final outcome to be. I can change it to make it a 50-50.
And you say, like, say here, I mean, I've got, where are you? Oh, where's it gone? Where am I for it?
So when you look at it as a 50-50, the actual ingredients didn't change. What changed is the PG and the VG that you finish it off with.
Wait, I'm going to be
most of these
using...
flavorings are PG based.
This is a 70-30 base mix.
Yeah.
So if I was to use that in a mix, I would just add the PGV together and use that as the total, yeah?
Well, see, that is perfect for one shots because it's already at 70-30.
Aye.
And if you start off at a 70-30 and you add 15% of the final bottle as your flavoring, you know, like this one?
Yeah.
You just add 9 mils of this or 10 mils of this, whatever it comes out to, depending on what size bottle you're doing in.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be less than 70-30 when you're done because this is a PG-based flavor. So you're probably going to be more like a 60-40 when you're done.
Yeah.
And then if your Nick shot is all PG, then you're going to be closer to, you know, a 45-65 when you're done.
I've got you. Yeah.
Or you could add just VG, you know, to make it an even 70-30. You could end up with a 70-30, which is a little more complicated because you're adding in a base that's already 70-30.
Yeah. Got you.
So if you're going to get into mixing, buy yourself a bottle of VG.
Add a PG.
And a bottle of PG.
Oh, gotcha.
And because when you're making stuff in smaller quantities, take an empty 120 ml bottle and fill it with just PG. It's a lot easier to get accurate with this with that little tiny nozzle on the top of it
Oh, no, but need a bottle
than that
of
big
this.
funnel on that one.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to this, I don't worry so much about this because this one, by the time you add all the ingredients into here, like this,
Yeah.
it's literally just a matter of pouring this into here to fill it up to the brim. That gets you your 30 mils.
Yeah. It's not as
It's a little
accurate as you-
intimidating when you first get started mixing stuff because it's like, oh, well, you got to exactly 1.8 of this, or you need exactly, 2.3 of this and 0.9 of this. I need to change my encoder settings. I'm tired of this buffering. But you could be a little bit off on this and a little bit off on this, and it's not going to change the flavor. It might change what its ideal device is that you use it in. Something like this as opposed to something like this.
I've got it.
You could put a 50-50 in here if you wick it properly. As long as you constantly use it, you might not run into any leaking issues. But if you were to set this aside and come back, a week later, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing leaks into the center chamber. It's a top airflow, so it's going to trap it inside the deck. It won't flow out onto the mod.
Just flood your
like
deck.
Dead Rabbit did.
Oh, that's you have got a love hate with that, like.
Well, that's the thing. You got the bottom airflow that they said, oh, this is fantastic, and then you can blend it with the side airflow on it. But when this leaks, if that wicking is off,
it's
going to dump its juice right out the bottom airflow.
It's down to the wicking, I suppose. That'll happen with a lot of them. If you get your wicking wrong, a lot.
Well,
of
with this one, if you don't wick it right, it's pretty hard to do because this is very forgiving for your wicking. That's why I love this thing so much. It's just going to flood the deck, and then you're going to have to blow it out the sides, which is going to cause it to run out because it'll be a gurgly vape, and you'll go, "Oh, the deck's flooded." I suppose you could turn it upside down and let it drip out. Come back to it later.
Yeah, that's a simple reason why I tend to like top airflow now more than I do bottom. There's no leakage at all.
It'll never leak. It'll never leak for you.
Flood the deck's the worst possible scenario. Whoopie doo. You know what I mean?
All right, so we did that. Let me take it back to the 30. And now we're just back to our 26.5.
KBS Vape says you're not buffering at his end.
I'm getting an encoding error, and I don't know what the Windows problem is that's causing it. I've tried a bunch of different settings to fix it.
I think it could be a setup on in memory, whatever, but I don't know. I wouldn't know.
The thing is, I've had consistent settings that never buffered, and ever since OBS 28, I've had this random encoding overload. It's the same graphics card I've always had. It's the 2060, RTX 2060.
Weird. It's just software issues, man. Like I say, when they update stuff, man, it just cocks everything up, man. Honestly.
And the thing was that OBS 29 was supposed to fix that because apparently it was a problem with the VLC player and the QT6 interaction or something.
Yeah.
Like when I close out OBS at the end of the day, I get OBS crashed.
Really?
It didn't crash. I closed it, but there was still an open source somewhere that didn't get closed out in the closing process.
Wow.
I don't know what the issue is. The rest of this stuff seems to be working okay, though.
Well, the show must go on, and we're doing fine, so there you go.
The show has gone on. We're at 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Ooh.
Feels like we just sat down to have lunch.
Another marathon.
Oh, you mean like Thanksgiving?
My God. But it didn't feel like that at the time. It just went so quick.
Might have something to do with the 2 pounders we each drank on the show.
Oh, so my apologies, KVS. I keep calling the person a he. He's just obviously not a he. My apologies. I do apologize.
It's a she.
She, I do apologize. I think it's just habit. My humblest apologies.
My VG bottle had a leak on the side.
Tighten the lid. Well, this is the first week of the hairy chin. It's starting
to fill in.
It's
getting itchy. Get yourself some beard oil.
This is the phase I just oh.
No, seriously, get yourself some beard oil, and when you wash your hair, get some conditioner and put it on your face too. Once this softens up.
What hair? I get you. I think it's just this stage where you just feel a bit like a hobo, you know what I mean?
Oh, I lost an O-ring.
Oh,
That's almost went flying.
That is not
the
good.
Drop. The Drop 1.5, and this is on the Voopoo 2.
Very nice.
Interesting. 2 panels.
Oh, slidey doors.
Battery on each side.
It's a weird setup, like, but you know. I think when I seen that come out, I wasn't sure on them doors whether there was gone loose and wobbly and flappy out over time.
No, but they're magnetic. That's what snaps them into place. But like a lot of these things, you know, people went out and bought them. How many people actually bothered to go and find panels to change out the side panels on these things?
Probably not many, like.
And you have to wonder how many shops actually carried the panels.
Well, this is it. I think it was the same when I had the paranormal. You got like the wood panels and you got the carbon fiber panels. And if you wanted anything else, I think you actually had to order them off the Lost Vape site rather than being available in a shop.
That was another pet peeve that I had with the TFV 18 tank. Non-standard drip tip.
Yeah,
it's not an A10. It's a sleeve that fits over top of it. I understand they wanted to get the maximum diameter for the airflow for this thing, but
yeah,
same thing. Nobody carried the replacement drip tips on their website. You can get all kinds of multicolor ones and different pattern ones. You can get drip tips that look like this in all different color variations.
You didn't see many of the stuff like that, like that's been like sold from a third party. You know, it's probably mainly off the manufacturer's websites.
Good balance of the pear and the guava. I really like that.
Justy Country Road is asking, how are the coils holding up in your Oxford X Slim vapes? Hunky Vape is
flavor still good? Still the original.
Still going, yeah. I'm still doing all right with this one as well. This one, I mean, this is just the X Slim here, and this one's still going strong and all. It's absolutely bang on, doing the job. Just on the batteries.
I'm trying to find the actual 30ml bottle I used to fill it. I've only gone through about 15 or 20 mils of liquid in this thing so far. But I mean, it's going to take a while considering it's only 2 mil capacity.
Right on cue, my batteries died on that one. Damn.
How many, you got what, 900 puffs out of yours or something? Or was it more than that?
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Before the coil had to be replaced on yours.
I get quite good coil usage out of them. Like, they're really good. I'm very impressed with them.
This is very good, actually. It is a nice sweet pear and guava. I think the guava is probably a bit more than the pear is. But it needs some more mouthfeel. Maybe a little dragon fruit in there to give it a little bit better mouthfeel. Or I could put a little cream in it. It'll stop it from being a shaken vape, but that cream would add a nice mouthfeel to this.
Cream. Creme de la creme, man.
And depending on how much you want to be able to taste the cream, you can go with whipped cream, or you can go with a legit cream, or you can go with like a Bavarian cream and push it more towards like a custard palate.
The Bavarian. I like Bavarian, like, I must say.
A Bavarian cream donut.
Yeah. Oh.
They call those Boston creams here in the States.
That would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
That would be nice. See, I'm not just a custard man. Although I do like a custard donut and all.
I think if I bumped the super sweet in this to 2%, I think my wife would use this as an all-day vape for her.
Ooh, one for the missus there.
Yep. And considering she's using the Freemax Max Pod, I got one here somewhere. That's what she's vaping. Still. Should dump that right in there. Even as a 70-30, it'll work fine. Because, you know, when she goes out on a break, she runs out the door around the corner and chain vapes a little bit and then comes back in.
Well, that's what it's all about.
And I still love the flavor on this thing. I can't get over how such a tiny little coil can produce wonderful flavor. They got that temperature to be exactly where the liquids need to be, so you don't kill it or you don't underpower it. It just doesn't produce enough vapor for me to use this all day, every day.
Like
so I have to have my cloud chucker.
It's a good out and about thing, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? If you're stuck. I mean, to be honest with you, right? I was out the other night at work and I burnt my coil out on this. I just, for whatever reason, my coil burnt out, and I was like, you know, when you get that, oh, and I went, man, I've got 3 hours here to go. What am I going to do? And I ended up going and buying a bloody disposable to get some issue. I need to get some fuel for the car, so went to the petrol station, and lo and behold, they had a couple of them on. Give me one of them.
Listen, I know you have a bunch of these laying around. There's no reason why you can't keep a spare wicked up, ready to go if it happens again, even if you just keep it in the glove box of your car.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I should.
And something else that they should put into these kits that I haven't seen in a long time.
The band. The rubber band.
These little rings to protect the glass. Even if you're just using it to transport the thing around, this thing can bounce around and you'll never have to worry about this glass breaking.
There's a certain vapor who calls that something else.
It's cock ring. Yeah.
I kind of had a feeling you knew who I was talking about.
But you can get them in all different colors. Bought this on Amazon. It was like $5 or something. Came with 6 of them, I believe. And they're all different colors, variations available to you.
You know, it's something that's worth thinking about if you're out and about with them, you know, or you're just a clumsy oaf and you keep dropping them all the time, you know what I mean? There's always that.
That's the problem with the TFV18 tank. The bubble glass on this is so wide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have this on a smaller mod, this falls over, you know, break the glass. Fortunately, Smock did listen and does include 2 of these glasses with each of their kits. So you have a spare one.
Thankfully.
But if you put one of these ugly little things on there, you don't have to worry about it breaking.
Exactly.
Takes a lot more force to break it.
I think what I found with them is, I think what the niggling thing I found with them, like, is like when you're looking to see how much e-liquid you've got left in, you're like moving it about and stuff, like how much have I got in. You know what I mean?
That's why it's nice they have these diamond cutouts in there.
That's right. That's the ones you just put some holes in.
Yeah, if you can't see fluid in there, you need to fill it. Don't wait until it's all the way down till it's empty.
Well, you know, I think that's what happened to me in the car. I just went, and then, oh shit, it's empty, and I burned it out.
But that is a very nice, simple recipe. I like that.
PBS Vapes is asking a question there. He says, you list your Twitch TV on your video, but he can't find you. Oh.
That's because I haven't been active on Twitch. I need to simulcast this. I've been waiting until I get all the bugs worked out of this so that I can just run a second instance of OBS. But if I'm already having encoding overloads with just the single instance, I'd have to use a service like Restream to send it out to multiple.
Yeah, I'm with you. It'll happen eventually, man.
Yes, it will.
And
I've already got the instances, like I can run the Twitch chat across horizontally across the bottom. Speaking of chat,
you'll be on all of them.
The chat there.
You'll be streaming the Twitch live. You'll be streaming the Facebook live. You'll be streaming YouTube live.
A lot of people do that. They'll just use Restream. They'll pay a subscription to Restream and then stream it to all of them at the same time.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. Like, just a shame you got to bloody pay for it.
Well, that's for Restream. OBS has the capability of streaming to both services, not at the same time. You'd have to use a separate, portable install of OBS, and then use the virtual camera from here to plump it into there as a scene, and then that one can upload to Twitch, and this one can upload to YouTube. And then you can use the virtual output of that one, like I do now, to send the Zoom feed to you so you see what's live. Not just my ugly mug the whole time.
Yes, I'm just going to say it's bearable. Thought he'd sneak one in there. Oh, God.
I can't believe how many of these simple recipes we mix up are so much better than the complex ones.
PVS is asking how much memory you're running. Oh, God.
64 gig?
I think I'm only on 16, I think. Something along them lines.
Yeah, my PC's maxed out as far as memory.
That's what I need to do. I mean, when I got it, it had 8, and I upped it to 16. I need to check the board to see what it maxes out at, and then I'll eventually just max it out.
Well, the board doesn't limit it to 64. The price of memory limits it to 64. I set it up with 32 gigabytes when I started doing the recording and editing stuff for DaVinci Resolve to be happy. And then last Christmas, I put another 32 in there, so I doubled it to 64.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when I first got this, it had 8 in, and I was using Premiere, and Premiere was ticking hour. But as soon as I put DaVinci on, it just kept, not enough. It just wouldn't run. It just kept, you could get your video in, and as soon as you'd done anything, crashed. So obviously when I updated my memory, I could run the DaVinci. But I'm on minimum requirements now, like, because since I've upgraded to update to 18.1, I'm getting massive video lag when I'm doing proper lag when it's jittery now when you're trying to edit. So I think.
Yeah, the RTX 2060 has been fantastic for me. I haven't had any issues of it. Like I said, when OBS 28 came out, that's where this encoding lag showed up out of nowhere. They changed the settings in the background, and it's no longer, low, medium, or high, basically. It's now you've got P1 through P5, and the settings I had were to P5, and I guess I need to bump it down to P4, maybe to eliminate the encoding. I'll try that next week and see what goes on.
But that was me worry with like this DaVinci Resolve.
Take care, Michael.
Take care, Seth. Like I said, that obviously updating it, but I'm thinking the updates that they're doing is more taxing on your machine. So I'm thinking you have maybe to always update your machine to cope with the updates. You know what I mean? Or to future-proof the updates.
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm editing videos, I have no issues really whatsoever. My only issues with editing videos are the Audio VST3 plugins. Waves likes to take over the whole scenario, and you'll see a little Waves icon on every clip image, even though you don't have a Waves VST on any of them except one.
I think it's
the way that they do things.
Sometimes when you're doing the playback, it's it'll run about 2 frames in, and you're like, oh, for God's sake.
Man, this latest update to DaVinci Resolve is so fast. That intro video that I did, it's like, maybe 200 little segments and then sound clips and whatnot. It rendered it in 28 seconds.
Oh, it's fantastic for that. Like, I'll give it that. Like, absolutely brilliant for that.
And they've got it nailed now that they have the remote server access. So you can have multiple people working on it at the same time. It keeps caches of all the renders that it's already done, so it doesn't have to duplicate work.
Well, you can't.
So the last time when I uploaded that last video, that it was a news report, and it was like an hour long. It took 4 minutes to render that whole thing. 5 minutes, something like that.
I'm getting a plugin called Dehancer Pro. Gives you like the cinema type look, the cinema print, your Kodaks and all that. The only thing with that, it's very taxing on your computer. Like, it's really whoa. Like when you add certain bits and bobs on it, wow, it slows. If you render it out, it's mint. But when you're actually doing it, Jesus Christ, it taxes your machine. Like, so that's why I'm thinking I need to upgrade a Taj.
I am really impressed with the noise removal that is built into DaVinci now.
It's class, isn't it?
I used to have to use Waves Clarity VX to get rid of noise and only have the actual audio dialogue remain.
Right, yeah.
But now it's just like it's built into DaVinci, and it's better than or at least as good as the Clarity VX.
Yeah. No, it's getting better and better, man. It's brilliant, honestly. Best thing I've ever bought software wise for a long, long time. Awesome.
Yep. It's getting to the point now where it's hard to justify all the plugins with the stock plugins doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're trying to color music, there's really no need for it.
Yeah.
Basic equalizers built into it, and you've got the compressor built into it, and you've got noise removal now, and they actually have an audio leveler tool that you can turn on, and it'll automatically level the audio for the whole thing.
Yeah, brilliant, man. All-in-one software, no more.
Like, I need to relearn how I mix the audio for this stuff nowadays, because with the leveler already there, I don't need to individually treat each segment of the video.
Yeah.
As long as, it's relatively understandable and clear, I know that it's going to be able to isolate the audio dialogue and balance it, and basically apply an upward compressor to make the quiet parts louder and the louder parts quieter.
Plus, there's a lot of people out there who are making things available for it now. Look, you have with Premiere and Adobe. You had all these bits and bobs you could download for it, or little, templates you could use and all that. When I first got DaVinci, there wasn't much of that about, but now there's a lot of people out there, and there's absolutely loads of it about now, and you can get some cracking stuff for it now, honestly.
Oh yeah, there's lots of little plugins that you can use and add on. Patrick Sterling is a good one to watch on YouTube if you want to learn how to do fusion effects, and he gives away his proto effects.
That's
like
brilliant.
If you've ever seen anything in my videos that have the flames around it,
it's proto.
As a background, that's proto. So I basically I mirror it, and I'll do one, it'll be a cutout, I'll do proto on the lower layer, and then I'll put the layer that you want to visualize and see without the effect over top of it. It's a beautiful, visual effect.
Lots of guy that there's Alex Tech. He gives loads
Alex
of free.
Tech, he has wonderful freebies out there that you can do, and he's got paid ones that you can buy.
People like that are just producing stuff for that's just phenomenal. From YouTube titles, subscribe titles, all that stuff to everything, that you could probably do, but would take you maybe hours and hours to do in Fusion.
Yeah, they've already got it done, and it's just an add-in plug-in titles and effects and transitions.
And it's just amazing. It's just getting better and better all the time. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you used to have to go to Motion VFX to buy the package.
That's right, yeah.
That these guys are giving away for nothing.
Unbelievable.
Sub to their channel. Maybe it's, sponsor them on Patreon. Subscribe to their Patreon for $5 a month or whatever. And whatever he makes, he gives away to his Patreon members for free.
Plus, like I say, a lot of them, they buy me a copy. You can make a donation or you can get it free. It's they're awesome, really awesome.
Yeah.
But I hope they'll keep it up. But like I say, if any of you guys ever want to get into video and editing, that's there is a free version of it. So it's a no-brainer.
Free version's more than enough for you to learn and do just about anything you need to do. If you want to get into the fancy effects and you want to get special tools like the dialogue isolate and leveler and certain titles and other effects, you need to pay for the full version. But once you pay for the full version, there's no recurring fees or nothing. It's yours for life. And
free updates for life as well.
Yep.
That's the thing I also like about it. There's no subscriptions like Premiere. You're paying us some months for this. It's a one-off, and that's it, done.
And if you got the money to buy, a Blackmagic camera, you can get the software license for free with the purchase of a camera.
Yeah, you go for now with the camera.
So.
But then again, the camera ain't cheap either, like.
No. The Canon M50 that I use is now $800. The M50 Mark II. The original one I bought, the original Canon M50, was $500, $599, $600.
I'm on the Sony A7 III, not the S, the A7 III. It's about a 4-year-old camera, and the body on its own was about 1,400 quid. So with the kit lens, which is some at the 75, it came to 1,800 quid. And I've only had it just over a year. But it's still not cheap.
Yeah, I looked at the V60 or whatever from Canon, the video camera to do 4K and to upgrade this one that I have here, but it's like, why? I can buy 2 Canon M50s for one of those.
At the end of the day, it depends what you want. A lot of the reviewers are kind of pushing towards the 4K mark now for producing, but 1080 is still just as good for YouTube. You know what I mean? I'll do 4K. If I've got it, so I'll use it. But I still, 1080 is still good enough. Your picture there, you're clear as a bell. You know what I mean?
It's the lighting.
Yeah, sharp as a tack. Like you say, there's that as well. It's not just your camera; it's how you light yourself and all that stuff.
Here's my other secret.
What's that? Lens. I could do some of them from your glasses.
That's why I bought them, for my glasses.
Yeah.
Every day I clean my glasses when they, get smudged up or whatever. And I only used a portion of the wipe for cleaning my glasses. So what did I do with the rest of it? I take the portion that I cleaned my glasses with and I scrunch it up on my end, and the other 4 corners are saturated with the alcohol. I wipe the lens off.
Right around with the lens.
So that when all the time that I'm sitting here vaping and I just, inadvertently blow it at the camera.
Yeah, you don't want to liquid on that. No, that's not good.
That will eventually start to blur out that image and you won't be able to get as sharp of an image. And it'll make this expensive camera look like a webcam. But just by doing this once or twice a week, all the lenses are fantastic and crisp and clear.
Simple solution is don't blow your vape all out of your cameras.
Listen, I need to have my Steam Crave Titan once in a while. So even if I'm not blowing at it, it's still going to get covered.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
It also helps having a ceiling fan in here so that the air is constantly circulated and it's dissipated almost instantly.
See, this is why I don't vape a lot in the house, you see, because it's just ooh. When the wife dusts and you get that sticky residue, she goes fucking off it. What am I doing?
Yep. And if you're looking for something to clean the residue that builds up in your car, I highly recommend finding the Sprayway glass cleaner here in the States.
Yeah, it kind of be a bit of glass cleaner, yeah. Good stuff, man.
Fantastic. Foaming glass cleaner, and it works fantastic.
It's handy for if you vape indoors. It's good for your normal windows and any mirrors you've got. It does the same job.
Yes, it does, but it has no problem breaking down the VG film that builds up eventually in your car. My wife's like, doesn't realize that, that it actually builds up. She's just driving and driving. She'll get a foggy night one night and go, man, it's so hard to see. I'll come out with a can of that, a couple paper towels and spray it, foam the whole thing, the whole window, give it 30 seconds for it to saturate, and then a paper towel, one wipe, and it's crystal clear again.
Yeah. And it's streak free as well. That's a good thing about it.
Yep. I am really impressed with this Pear Guava. The balance is just right in it. And it doesn't need to be sweet. That guava, the natural guava flavor isn't a sweet guava inherently. It's not like biting into a peach.
So I'm just wondering if it will get better as just leave it for a while as well, won't it? So
24 hours, all this is going to take for it to reach its equilibrium. And I think my wife's going to be impressed with this. She'll probably want me to make a bigger bottle of it for her.
Well, that's the advantages of having a vape mixer as a husband, you see.
Yes. The problem is that, it's like having a conversation about dinner. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. Whatever you make.
Yeah, I have that all the time.
Just need to get an idea spurred in there, and then all of a sudden it takes off. She decided to make Crunchwrap Supremes at home, and they're better than the ones you get from Taco Bell.
Our meal times are rather chaotic because the kids, all right, we're going to make this, don't want that. Well, I'll have that. Well, I don't want that. Well, what do you want? Well, I want that. Well, I haven't got that in to make, but it's just the constant, like, I thought, when I was a kid, you got it shoved in front of your nose, and if you didn't like it, that was it, tough. You didn't get fed.
Yeah, you either eat that or you go hungry the rest of the night.
Exactly. But no, dear me. We're dealing about 3 meals, different meals at a time. I think there's just no need.
Yeah, well, we have the conversation with my daughter and what do you want for dinner? We'll get her input on it. But if she has no idea, then you're going to eat what we make.
Exactly. Oh,
that's what's for dinner today.
They always have an idea. Trust us.
They do.
We
all have our favorites.
My son is literally a teenage Ninja Turtle. He would just live on pizza if he could, because that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth. Pizza. No.
You get tired of pizza. If you have it all the time, you get tired of it too, just like anything else.
Pizza and pasta. That's all he loves it. That's just what he eats.
For me, a treat is fish and chips when we go out to eat, because nobody else in the house likes to eat fish.
I'll give over me and my son. My wife's not keen on it. The 2 daughters aren't keen on it. But me and the boy, we have fish finger sandwiches. Oh, delish.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to tea time, what do you 2 want? Fish finger sandwiches? I'm not having that. Well, tough, I am.
Yeah, there's a couple places that we order out to food, and they have a decent fish and chips platter that you can order.
And luckily enough, we're in the part of the world where we're next to the coast. It's a way of living. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have it fresh.
Just fresh in off the boat. So But we're kind of lucky in that sense. But then again, it is underestimated because people are going, oh, not again fish and chips. But when you haven't had it for a while and you get out and get a nut, oh, wow.
And if you get some really good fish, like a cod or a tilapia, it's inherently sweet and it doesn't smell or taste like fish. It's just a nice flaky texture.
I love haddock meat.
Haddock's good. That's what McDonald's uses for their fish sandwiches.
Haddock, chips, and a portion of mushy peas on the side.
That's something else. I love peas. Nobody else in my family likes peas.
Why? What's the matter with them? God.
My daughter loves chicken pot pie. That's the only time that she'll eat peas, is in a chicken pot pie. My wife, my daughter handed her the chicken pot pie slice that she cut for her, which was appallingly small. But you got the plate back and it was just peas. She ate everything else except for the peas.
I mean, to give them that extra je ne sais quoi, you can just put a dab of mint sauce in. Oh,
mint. I haven't tried that.
Mint sauce on mushy peas is awesome. I'll tell you, brilliant.
I bet that combination would be in the Flavor Bible.
Yep. That's a good one, isn't it? Should we make a vape with that? Minty mushy peas.
Listen, I reached out. We were on the Legion Vape show, which is time for me to plug him.
There he
Steve.
is, Mr. Steve.
Have a coffee with Legion Vapes. I was having a conversation with him, and Dave agreed to come onto the show. I just need to get OBS set up to capture two Ians at the same time. So
I've never caught up with him for a while because I used to catch him on a Sunday morning, one of his lives. But I've been out and about the last few weeks. So I've never really caught. I need to catch up with him a little bit.
That's the Aussie Vape show you watch.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because by the time he comes on here, it's already past your bedtime there.
Oh, well and truly.
So when he does the Aussie Vape show, which is his evening, that would be more time for you. Morning time.
That's normally the one I would catch.
I eventually want to get to the point where we have an international vape show going on. We cover 3 continents.
That'd be awesome.
It's just trying to find the ideal time where it works for everybody and nobody has to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
There's no way you'd be getting paid with that time. I'm sorry.
Listen, I don't have a problem setting it up so that I do it at 6 o'clock in the morning here. 6 o'clock in the morning is going to put it around 11 o'clock lunchtime your place, and then it'll be the previous day in Australia in the evening.
I'll just be lying in bed, be mobile. Hi, I'm not up yet.
It'll be midday for you.
Nah, true enough.
I'll take the early morning shift. If I have to get up at 5 o'clock in order to, do a show at 6 or something, that's not an issue.
Yeah, we'll see. See how it goes, man. See what you can get. Yeah. See what part of the world they're in. That's the thing, isn't it? See what part of the world they're in.
Yeah, there's only been a half a dozen people that have showed any interest in it whatsoever. It's just trying to find people and trying to get the times coordinated so it works into everybody's schedule.
It's a time zone thing, isn't it?
Because I don't want to do it just as a one-time thing.
No.
We can switch up the guests that are on the show, but I want to keep it as an actual international vape show where you always cover all aspects of the globe.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, we've got a big lump of water in between us, so, not doing too bad.
It's just across the pond.
The pond. I have one big pond.
All right, we're coming on 3.5 hours. I think it's time for us to cut it off for today.
3.5? My God.
Little shenanigans here and there.
Well, as long as we had fun, that's the main thing.
Nothing as flirtatious as the last episode. No comparisons to urine or piss.
Nope. We've had hemorrhoids mentioned, but we skidded around that one.
Yes, we did.
You see where I came from there? Skidded round it. Never mind.
Skid stain. I get it.
I'm glad somebody did. Yeah.
I'd pull up some sound effect, but I don't have anything readily available that's gonna pair up with that.
No, I don't think it will be an apt one either, actually.
Sorry, folks, we've gone off the deep end. It's definitely time to cut this off. So my wish is always peace, love, and a hunky vape to end cigarette combustion. Hope you guys all have a fantastic day. See you same time next week.
Again, boys and girls, thank you, all you guys and girls in chat. Yes, I do apologise, KVS, for getting the gender wrong. A common mistake I make, but yep, again, it wouldn't be the same without you guys. So thank you very much. We shall see you same time, same place next week. Stay safe, vape safe, and we'll see you all then, guys and girls. Bye.
And for those of you that didn't catch the intro, we're going to burn the same bumper for our outro. Have a great day. On the last episode of the Mixin and Chillin vlog, even if they implemented some ridiculous laws, this is something that if somebody truly wants to do this, they can still do it. But it's going to take a lot of effort on the vapors' part to actually learn what it takes to make your own stuff. I don't know what the heck happened to the last hour of my life, but it certainly wasn't streamed on YouTube like I thought it was. Restrictive policies block progress towards smoke-free world. Many people incorrectly think that very little nicotine content cigarettes are less carcinogenic than current cigarettes. This risk misperception by people who smoke could reduce motivation to quit under a nicotine reduction policy.
Someone who specialises in helping people kick the habit is Dr. Colin Mendelsohn. He joins me now.
Look, vaping is a far less harmful alternative to smoking for adult smokers who just can't quit, and that's actually the majority of them.
The road to quitting smoking is paved with candy. Double chocolate clear from TFA. Published in the Vaping Post, we have long-term study. Vaping increases odds of quitting heavy smoking. For those of you that don't know, this is Kenny Thompson, the Vaping Heed. He's got a YouTube channel. He's been on here a lot longer than I have. I'm not going to stop until this is legal and available for everyone. You know, I cover things from all around the globe, but that's because science has no boundary.
I mean, you know, the FDA and everything would know that vaping is safer than smoking, but they'll have the pressure off the tobacco companies or the states that are on the MSA and all that. It's just a financial thing, and it's, and unfortunately that takes precedence against everything. And
All of the things we went through.
I must say, well done on that. Like, that was a cracking intro. That absolutely brilliant.
I think it turned out pretty good. Today's retro build is the Serpent Elevate by Wotofo, and see if you all recognize this one, Ringco Mechmon Nano. It's a 90-watt RDA kit.
Now we're talking. But it looks nice, you know what I mean? It's not just a... I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting.
That candy cane's fantastic in here. There's our recipe for today.
Well, Gates dropped a link in there, The Science of Diabetes and Vaping. So there you go. There's a link there if one of you guys want to investigate it more or whatever.
Ignore the headlines. There's no science linking vaping to prediabetes. The Vapor Chef. Honeypearry clone.
Well, you can see it. It's just, whatever rocks your boat type of thing, in it.
And Birdman brings up a very, very good point. Your liquids need to remain fresh. There is a certain point where it's reached its peak, and after that point, it's going to degrade. Some of them degrade like a cliff, and some of them take a long time to degrade. So today's experiment, find out what an apple cinnamon donut tastes like after it's been steeping for a year and a half.
Oh, God. It looks really dark. That looks like my last urine sample when I was ill. That's really dark.
Oh my God, you're horrible.
But like I said, if it's still vaping good, then I'll put him off it now. Whatever you do, don't say it tastes like piss.
It doesn't taste like piss.
Vaping is better than smoking.